Are you doing an introduction?
No. We're live already. So
Yeah, we're live right now.
What?
yeah. And we're going live. Oh, it's got us all on there, and it's got us in a just like this. If we change the format, I wonder how it would change it.
I wonder.
So we could stream to Instagram while we're doing the live show.
Oh, you're just on YouTube?
No, we're on Instagram right now, live.
I'm not seeing it.
Either
I don't see it either.
Yeah, no, me neither.
Is it
Just
your
pull it up.
Insta or is it
Yes.
CMP?
No,
It's neither
mine.
one right now because I don't see
I
it.
don't see either.
Let's
No.
type in Joey.
No,
Nothing's live.
no, I don't see it at all.
No.
There we go.
It's not working.
Now we're going live.
There we go.
Okay.
It's got like a 15-second delay, doesn't it?
No, I didn't.
Ooh.
I thought I hit the deal.
There
But
it is.
Oh, it's very letterboxy.
Oh no, that's like up to date. I'm watching. No, it ain't. There we go. Yeah, it's like a 10-second delay.
Come on.
Yeah, I think Joey said like 10 to 15
There it
seconds.
now we're going live.
There we go.
Yeah, I see it.
Okay.
It's got like a 15.
There's a little bit of a delay.
Mm-hmm.
Just a wee bit.
Johnny's Lays class. You see me?
I can point at Matt right now.
Well, that way. Where's Scott? Oh, can we
Yep.
touch? Can we touch fingers, Scott?
Let's see.
You know what happens when that happens.
Where?
Oh, what happened? We just switched. Now I gotta go. Now I gotta go down. What? Fuck. Pardon my language. I didn't say that.
Matt's messing with us.
You're ready. You're ready.
How am I messing, buddy? Woohoo!
I-
Drink in a hand. I'm not messing with you.
Y'all see it? Like, let me see if I can pull it up this way.
Yeah, there's a really good delay.
It's good.
Is that good because then Joey can beat us when we swear?
No, he can't do that.
We're live on my Steel Blade on Facebook.
right back?
And I'm live on what's it called?
This
YouTube.
dang camera.
See, you had to get fancy with the 4K camera.
You watch it.
I solemnly swear.
I'm up to no good.
There we go. Now, I'm trying to find myself on my YouTube page. It's on Facebook. How?
I'm not seeing it. What YouTube do you have it going to?
I went to my Steel Blade Woodworks, and Matt's on his Wacky Works. And
Yep, I got 3 on mine right now.
do you?
Mm-hmm.
So
Oh, look
how,
at you.
how?
How is? I mean, are we doing jokes like that, or what are we doing here?
Moving on.
I feel like I got my mom in the room or something.
There we go.
How now, brown cow?
Mm-hmm. Brown chicken, brown cow.
For anyone watching right now, we're this is a little trial run, and we're trying to figure out how everything works. So please bear with us.
Bear
We
with
are
us.
not
Okay, I got
professionals.
me on my Facebook.
Do you?
I mean, on my Facebook and on YouTube.
What
And
two
there's
Facebooks
no,
are
let's see. There's about a 5-second delay.
Mm.
Maybe not even that much. It's cool. Anyhow,
Yeah, I like
what's
it.
everybody up to? So we can stream to Instagram in the podcast during the podcast if we'd like to, because it's It's just going to be in that format. We'll
Yeah,
see
we just
when
can't-
Steve
we
I
can't-
comes in.
We just can't see their comments. We'll have to have somebody on there.
But we'll have to have somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wish there was somebody that can comment from who. Do you have people watching, Matt, on your YouTube?
I was just trying to go to. I have.
Yeah,
I have
Wim
So
is on it,
Wim,
it's one
Wim
of-
is on. So okay, so I can see Wim's comments on.
So-
He's on yours, Matt.
I don't know. He's on somebody's
you-
because I can see him. I can see all. It's like all the comments. You can see
Right.
him on all the
We
channels.
just don't know where they're coming from.
Correct.
All right, let's see.
What is not working here? I'm trying to set up the live on my YouTube and it's not letting me.
It's not going to let you do it because we started already. You need to put. We'll do it again. Put your destination in there from the beginning.
Oh, that's nice. I can see the analytics already. Live analytics.
Ooh,
That's pretty
that's
cool.
a guy.
That is pretty
Hey,
cool.
Victor, if you
Alright,
if you can and you would please. Oh, there he is. He just finally decided to show up.
He's been sitting down there this
Hey.
whole time just
Oh, has
watching
he?
it. No.
No, he just came. No, he just came in.
I just came in. I was busy trying to get something out on the gram.
Man, I was really pulling his leg here, and you guys just blew it.
How we doing?
Oh,
Good. How's it going, Mr.
Fantastic.
Steve?
Steve.
I'm doing wonderful.
Hey Matt, this is what you do so you don't have to leave to go get a drink. You bring this bar to you.
Mm.
yeah, but there's ice in the. I need
There's ice in the cup
sometimes.
too.
remember,
I
keep
mean-
it PG.
Usually on the podcast, I'll make a
What's-
backup.
What's PG?
If you have
YouTube,
to ask that,
YouTube
you-
Senate sensitive.
Yes. Yeah.
Are we streaming yet?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we're live.
Oh,
We're
excellent.
live.
Yeah, we've been live for a while now.
Awesome. How we doing out there, YouTube?
I like it. YouTube,
we're
Instagram,
on
all of it,
Instagram.
and everything.
It's
I like
kind of
it.
weird. It's kind of weird on Instagram.
It's
It
only
is,
showing
but
me
it's
3 people
small.
on right now.
Well, on
That's probably the
Insta,
3 people that are watching it. The 3 of us.
Is there a way to
So-
promote it or anything on IG or
didn't do
it's
anything.
If you
Yeah.
go into the
Uh,
IG on your phone, you could probably share it. Share the link.
Mhm.
can I?
Yeah, you should be able
Because
to.
it's on my page. We wanted to see what it was going to do. If we could, it's cool the way it's formatted. We'll just see how long it lets us stay live on IG.
Oh, true.
mean-
Yeah.
Oh, Steve I's on. Steve I's watching right now. I can see it.
Oh,
right
hey,
now.
man, we're
I
famous
am.
now.
Hey,
Yeah.
woo.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
okay, I'm confused now because there's a comment from my Facebook page.
Okay.
You see
Mhm.
that at 8:33?
So it means
I
because
did
your
not make-
Facebook, yeah, your Facebook is up, right?
So wouldn't that have showed? Oh, it doesn't show who actually made the comment.
Mm-mm. You have to look at it in your Facebook. Facebook doesn't show up here.
Mhm.
Well, then
Mm-hmm.
thought it was saying.
Nice.
The more you know.
The more you know.
And knowing's half the battle.
G.I. Joe.
Uh-oh.
I could see. Hey, do we need to basically ground?
Oh
truth
my
the-
god!
oh
Oh my god!
Drown joy from the buttons.
Unfortunately,
Jason.
we can't.
That way you know this is StreamYard.
I can see it, Katrina. I got it on my desktop, and I'm watching the chat in
Yes.
Instagram, so I can see it. How you doing, Katrina?
Hi,
Welcome.
Katrina.
So what we're doing is we're trying this out to see if we can stream it to Instagram while we're doing the podcast, and it looks like it's working. I mean,
I
I
think
got
so.
it on Facebook. I got it on my YouTube.
Yeah.
Matt has it
There you
on
go.
his YouTube.
Yep.
Where did he go? Why did he drop off?
I
Oh.
He told him he was live.
Oh, he didn't know he was live.
He probably had to go make a grilled cheese.
His
Oh,
internet froze up.
Yeah, it's that time.
Mm,
I mean, he's in Iceland.
that's why I said his internet froze up.
Matthew.
It froze up
Thank you. Thank
Hey.
you, BJ. Finally.
It
Get it
froze
in there.
up because of all the tariffs that are put on Canada right now.
Oh, no
Jeez,
politics. No
no,
politics. No
come on,
politics.
bud. Come on, come on.
Oh,
Keep it. No, none of that.
All the tariffs that are put on Canada right now.
who's got their phone on?
What's up, Seth?
Not
Seth.
me.
Seth. Sorry. I had you. It was me. My bad. I had it real light. Man, you're so sensitive to that mustache.
JR, can you mute your TV?
I did. There's nothing on.
That's not going to get anybody.
Is that on loop? Come on.
I'm gonna delete it. I swear to God, I'm gonna delete it.
No, don't you dare.
Do
Don't
it.
you dare.
God.
Delete it.
Stop
Delete
banging
it.
on my walls.
Like, who the heck is out here?
You like Don, how you doing, Don? You like
popsicles?
Oh my God, Matt.
Oh, gotta turn the
What's
loop
the
off.
glue with
Yeah.
you?
I didn't do that. That one with me.
Special Officer Duke, report.
Don't you bother me cleaning my room.
Is this?
Like, can you see that on Instagram?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Everything
yeah,
comes
yeah.
through.
Cool.
Everything comes through.
Nice.
What's up, Don?
So what's everybody
Oh.
doing? It's like all
There's Don. Yeah.
we're like all just like, oh, we're able to do this. So what's everybody up to? Anybody doing anything?
I ripped a cabinet off the wall. It's on the floor now.
I think
don't
it's a
believe
great.
you.
I think you did a great job at it.
I wonder how long it's going to be on the floor. Anybody want to take some bets?
Right
I'm,
there,
I'm taking
BJ.
bets. I'm taking bets on how long that box of borax is going to sit on that counter. 'Cause I think the first live I
Where are
ever
we?
saw you do in the shop, it was
It's been there for a while. I
It
think he
has.
probably stuck it to the table. That's why it can't move. Because I think that's a table, right? When he stuck the sign, that's the same table. Did it run off
Yep.
and stick the borax?
No.
box in it?
No, that's the lathe. That's the lathe table it's sitting on.
Oh,
Can you
okay.
see it? Can you see the
See,
lathe?
I'm the guy over here that rearranges my studio for almost every podcast to make it look different.
Yeah.
So this week I'm going to have a T-Rex skull here. Next week, you never know.
Is that a stab at me?
No,
He's just talking about the boxes, Joey.
Oh, we had gotten to that point.
Well, actually, Joey opened a box this week, so
No, that was last week. He opened up the.
That was last week.
Oh,
Yeah.
he opened up a new box. He's got his new printer cleaners.
Oh yeah, but they're back in the box.
I ordered mine last night.
It's kind of
Yeah,
like
I
a
don't
turtle
know.
thing, you know.
Yes.
They poke his head out, see what's
Turtle,
going on.
turtle. Boop.
Yep,
Stick
exactly.
it. Come right
I
back
like
in.
turtles.
Turtle.
Yeah.
Am I not turtly enough for your turtle tub?
It's funny because Facebook, I don't have the volume up, and all I see is Scott over there doing this in the camera.
Turtle,
What's
turtle.
going on? What's going on down there, Scott, or up there, Scott? What you got going on?
I got this giant table hanging from the ceiling right now. We're going to, I've already done the bottom side. We flipped it, and I'm going to pour epoxy into the edge. So that's burr oak. So a lot of that burr oak, the grain splits open.
Yep.
And now we're getting ready to pour. I've already done one pour. We're going to finish doing the second pour tonight.
Nice.
And
You're not going
finish.
to do bow
Finish.
ties?
No, not on the end of the table.
I know. Yeah.
Yep. So
No,
I dumped. So the other side, I dumped probably 3.5 quarts and them cracks went deep.
Yeah.
I've
Dang.
only dumped 1 quart in this side right now, so we're probably gonna do another half a quart tonight, and then it'll be done.
That's a big table.
And
What
it-
size is that?
So that is 6 foot wide, 6 foot long, and 3.5 inches thick.
Jeez.
Ooh.
And
That's
then
some
the
Rick
table
block
legs.
track, dude.
Yeah.
Yep, the table legs are gonna be 8 inches by 8 inches.
Dang.
Yeah, it's heavy.
Let's say.
That's going out
Yeah,
to
people
Lincoln,
that
Nebraska, and I'm not really looking forward to delivering it, to be honest with you.
That's gonna be a big
Mm-mm.
first step, maybe.
Ooh.
Yep.
Wow.
What about
It's,
you, JR? What you got going on? Look, there's the closet boy. What's up there?
Right now, I'm working on a sign, individual letters that's saying mini bar, and they're going to be 6 feet tall, and the whole thing's going to take up 16 feet long. And that one's going to be shipped out to Maine. This gentleman has a golf course mini bar, a miniature golf course, and it's going to go inside his bar, and it's going to say mini bobblehead shelves on it, so he could display all his bobbleheads in there.
That's cool.
And then I'm working on 2 more orders of the LA Dodger bobblehead displays. I got another order today, so that was really good. Yeah.
Oh, shit.
So that's what I'm working on.
Cool.
Nice.
Everybody's quiet.
Yeah. Steve, what you working on, man?
I think Steve is hovering to everybody's page. Right
Some
now.
of it.
No, I'm trying to get the chat going in here, and I connected it up with my YouTube, and for some reason, every time I type something in the chat, it's double posting. It looks like.
Ooh.
I don't know if everybody can see it, but I said hi to everyone, and it posted it 3 times, and I
Yeah.
just said hi to Donna,
Oh,
and
in
it posted
the
it twice.
StreamYard chat? Or
Yeah.
what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
at the bottom it says all. You got to take it down to the single.
Yep.
Oh.
Well, I haven't even.
God, you have too much fun with that.
I haven't seen the StreamYard chat. I'm just looking at the Instagram chat.
Yeah,
I am too right now.
What's up, Don? How you doing?
Mm.
Where are you
Lots of
seeing-
boys in Florida today, huh?
Yeah. Why are you in Florida, Paul? Dang.
God help them.
Do they have a big enough closet for him?
Custom room.
Ooh, we got. Where's that one at? Oh, that one weirdo. Hi.
Hello.
Howdy, howdy.
Vacation.
Howdy, howdy, howdy.
Hey,
I'm
Don.
Woody.
So what you got going on, Matt?
Nothing. At work. Was there early this morning and didn't get back up till later this afternoon. I got to be back early in the morning. Got a bunch of samples that we're getting out for work, so nothing to do with woodworking at all. We're just creating stuff, but not fun stuff.
Are you
So-
still crushing concrete?
Yep, that's actually what I'm doing. Is I'm making up concrete sample mix design for Facebook. So Facebook's putting a new headquarters in Alabama, and so
Ooh.
we're doing the mix designs for that. It's a data center and headquarters, and so it's got to meet certain criterias. So they sent it over to me to play with the mixes. I had 12 of them, and I think I got another 6 coming to me. So super
Nice.
fun to set up, labor intensive.
Sounds entertaining.
Mm,
I don't know. It sounds kind of boring to me.
it's,
I watched it one night crushing concrete, and it was pretty boring.
it is.
I was entertained for a minute.
Well, now it is fun when you get to the high strength concrete and your load gets it climbs. You put some pressure into it. Next thing you know, it
Using all the PSIs,
all of them, PSNIs.
PSNIs.
Mm-hmm.
So do y'all use are y'all using a manual ram or is it all
Hydraulic,
hydraulic?
600,000 pound
controlled.
machine.
Wow.
Dang.
So I can put some pressure on it.
You flatten
And the
it too.
the cylinder is only like 4 inches in diameter or 6 inches in diameter. So you figure out it's like only surface area of 12.56 or 28.27.
You're doing this math, not me.
Don't math me. Don't math me.
Math is important, people.
No.
Yeah, but Friday night math is not.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
I left my brain in
my brain.
I left my brain in the house.
Mm-hmm.
Later,
He's not-
Johnny.
No, we've had some explode, and somebody didn't close the cage door before they did it, and it blew. We also put a wrap around it to try to keep it safety, and it shot through the wrap, out the thing, and into the wall.
Ooh,
And so,
Nice.
yeah, that was pretty
nice.
awesome.
Concrete shrapnel. Shrapnel.
Mhm.
Always fun.
Yeah, the high strength ones explode. So
I bet they
because
do.
what is all it's doing? I got a 2.5 inch thick solid steel frame. It's 24 inches wide, and when it pops up that load, when you get a good load on that thing, it's bending that metal, and then when it pops, it's now retracting,
Yeah.
and it shoots everything out.
Ooh.
So
So, Steve, you're getting ready to head out to
I am.
Mark Adams Classic.
I am. Yep. Next, what is it? The 10th? Next Thursday. I'm going to start heading out to Mark Adams out in Indiana. Franklin, I think it is.
Mhm.
Taking a 1-week class that starts on Saturday for making an acoustic guitar. So I'm
Oh,
pretty
shit.
excited about that. Kind of prepping everything. I got to pull all my tools together and get everything squared away so that I'm ready to go. Be about a
Nice.
14-hour drive for me.
Ooh, boy.
And is that from scratch or what? I mean, I'm imagining that you have to do the bending, or is that all done already? The sides.
That's an excellent question. My understanding is the majority of it is from scratch. There are some components that the instructor said will be pre-assembled, but my guess is it will be 99% from scratch. So we'll take the neck blank, we'll shape that, we'll carve it, we'll rest and sand it all, we'll shape the headstock. We'll end up probably the sides will not be bent yet. We'll probably bend those up. We'll glue all the bracing on, pare down the bracing, fit the top and the back, and glue the bridge on, square it all the way. So yeah, it's supposedly it's a 7-day class, and they said it's going to be 8 to 10 hours each day. So I'm
Wow.
looking forward to it.
Wow.
Dang.
Yeah, it's gonna be 7 long days.
That's gonna be a good.
It's gonna be awesome.
That's kind of cool, though.
Yeah, that'd
Yeah.
be fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It is. About 7, 8 years ago. I don't know. Back in a number of years ago, pre-COVID, I took a 3-day class at the local Woodcraft, and that was from a kit. So we did when we got everything, the top and the back were already braced. We just had to pare everything down and
Yep.
fit the top and the back, and the sides were already bent. So we just kind of glued everything up. We shaped the neck, but that was 3 days, and that was like a 10 to 12 hour a day. And I left with a completed guitar minus finish.
Nice.
So,
So that's the expectation of this one as well. We'll
So-
leave
so
with
you-
our.
can
go
you
ahead.
play? Can you play?
That's it's
Can you
questionable.
rock?
I
believe
know enough
everybody
to
can
be
play,
in
right?
the background and strum some chords and maybe play a little rhythm, but I'm mostly self-taught, and I have said to a lot of people, every once in a while it actually sounds like music. But for the most part, I've resigned myself to the fact that I'm going to be a terrible guitar player, and I'm just going to focus on building them for people who can actually use them and make
Oh.
music.
You're just gonna focus on singing then.
No, I cannot carry a tune. No, but
DJ, what you
No,
got
that's
going
awesome
on, bud?
though. They're really awesome.
yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Thanks.
You talking to me?
No, the other BJ.
Talking to
The other
me.
BJ? I've been at work all week. Oh, I did demold the Ducks Unlimited board.
Oh,
Hold that thought real quick. I'm gonna go discipline.
snatch your cat. Yeah, I saw that. That was pretty awesome.
Did you know I can jump up here?
Yeah.
Did
So-
you know when you left me unattended?
Yeah, when we first got her, and this is Calypso, by the way. So
Mhm.
this is our little Bengal. She's our baby. I couldn't find her one night. I looked everywhere, couldn't find her. The little fart was sleeping inside my P1S.
Oh,
Good
Perfect.
thing you didn't start that sucker up.
Yeah. Are you growling?
Perfect. Yeah,
Okay,
because
don't worry.
you definitely want cat hair inside your
Yeah.
inside your printer. That's
And
great.
she shits. But yeah, so what I was saying, so yeah, I demolded the Ducks Unlimited board. I ran it through the planer 4 or 5 times. Just to see, how cured the epoxy was, and of course it's not. So I'm gonna let it sit till this weekend, then I'll throw it on the CNC and flatten it down, get it down to the level I need it to be at to get all the walnut uncovered. And then I'll go ahead and cut the Ducks logo in it and start filling with epoxy. So that's it. I don't have a whole lot going on. Pretty slow right now.
I would recommend clamping that uncured board to your bench and letting it cure on your bench.
I've never had an issue
Matt-
with it.
That's,
The
Yeah,
walnut
Matt's pretty
is
familiar with letting epoxy
Yeah.
cure on the bench.
The bench. Yes,
Mhm.
he's
Mhm.
an expert.
Yep, self-taught, by
Yeah.
the way.
Or
the walnut's
or
been
cure to the bench.
yeah.
One way or
The
another.
walnut that's in there has been drying in my shop for 4 years now. So the walnut's plenty dry, and yeah, it's sitting on a flat surface, so it should be fine.
How thick, BJ?
Right now it's an inch and a little over an inch and a quarter. I need to get it down to an inch.
Oh, okay. Nice.
I'm a little disappointed. I don't know if it was something with the epoxy or what, but I tried to do a pure white with a little pearl, and it's a little eggshell. It's a little off white. So
What white did you use?
it's the Wise Bond. It's their pure white. Their
Mhm.
their gel.
How thick
pigment?
was it? How thick was
Wait,
it?
the-
Where we went with the
What's
white
that?
at? Was it still on top of the wood, or was it like a full...
No. And I'm like in the voids. You can see it a
Mhm.
little off white. I honestly think the epoxy had yellowed a little too much. It just sitting in the bottle. So, but normally I don't have that problem. Now here's what I think happened. I ended up using a bottle of that super clear that I was given, and that was probably part of it. The Wise Bond epoxy, I've had the hardener go completely yellow, and once you mix it, the yellow goes away. Super
Yeah.
clear. If the hardener yellows, it's done. Which, speaking of, I think I pissed somebody off on the Super Clear website the other day, or Instagram,
Oh,
because I saw a comment where they're like, "Oh, it's the most clear, blah 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 blah," and somebody asked the legit question, like, "Will it yellow over time?" And their response was, "Oh, it has a ton of UV, blah 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 stuff in it."
It'll still yellow.
And so I commented, I was like, "It will still yellow. Here's what you can do to prevent it." And she got all mad. She's like, "How dare you come onto my page and answer questions that were asked to me?" And I'm like, "You didn't give a valid answer. You gave a I'm a shill for this company answer, which if you read certain laws, you can get in trouble for if you're not being
Yep.
truthful." And
Now,
yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. I use a lot of Super Clear,
Mm-hmm.
and my bill with Super Clear last year was close to $6,000.
Okay.
whew.
I've never had any Super Clear yellow on me, but
Mhm.
then again, doesn't sit around either.
Yeah.
Right.
This
You know,
this stuff that I got
so-
was from a fellow woodworker that had it, and it's still good.
Yeah.
I mean, it cured perfectly fine.
Yep.
And I was using Super Clear for 6-7 years before I switched.
Yep.
And
Yep.
and really it was just due to some
Yeah.
there's a backstory. But
Yep.
yeah, I've poured, I think my biggest pour with Super Clear was almost 15 gallons at one time.
Woo.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
Yep.
it's nothing like dumping
That's
$1,500 worth of epoxy into one
Yeah.
one mold. But it was a 15-foot table. So there's a ton of surface area, and it was also dead of winter. So in my shop at the time, I think it was 55 degrees. So it took a week and a half to cure. I've never had. Yeah.
I wish that they would make a resin epoxy that's thick pour that is insect repellent. Because,
Ooh.
my God, every time you pour,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
it's like they're
There-
attracted
there's-
to it.
There's a reason why I'm sanding them things to like 10,000 grit after I get done pouring them.
You got to get all the
Get rid of the
legs out of them.
bugs. Yeah.
Yes.
Fly leg.
Yes. Dude, that would save so much time if that thing
Yeah.
like repelled the insects.
I'm telling
So-
you.
My old shop had a yellow jacket infestation. Like it was nothing to kill 5 or 10 yellow jackets a day. And yeah, I did a pour, did like 5 charcuterie boards at one time, left, came back a couple days later, and there's probably 6 or 7 yellow jackets embedded
Yeah.
in every single one of them. Like, are you kidding me? And those things are so heavy, like they sank halfway into the epoxy. I'm like, well,
Tabletop
so what-
epoxy over them, and then that's called character.
I'm
Yeah.
telling you. There you go.
yeah.
Bees in their
Uh,
natural habitat.
Came out of the wood.
I just started
BJ.
putting,
Go ahead.
I just started putting Rubbermaid containers over all my molds. I'd pour
Mhm.
it and then put stuff over the top of it to keep the bugs out of it. But big tables, I mean, unless you get, want to mess with putting tarps up and all that other stuff,
Most,
you're
don't
just
most
no.
most of my tables that I do are anywhere from 8 to 14 foot long.
Oh yeah,
They're- I just have to live with it.
Yep.
I get
Mhm.
mosquitoes and flies. That's what I get.
Yep. Same thing
just
here.
check it every couple hours, and if you get one, take a pair of tweezers and pull it out. And
They don't.
Yep.
I sat out there and babysat it for like, I think it was 11 and a half hours. We sat there and I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
all right, we're to the point now. It's pretty sticky. Nothing's going to, and we'll leave it alone for the night and go to bed. Came back the next morning, literally like 4 hours later, and it's like 6 of them. I'm like, come on.
Matt comes back and there's dog tracks across it.
Yeah.
No, that was my slab
Yeah.
when I poured it. I tell you, okay, so when I poured my slab for my shop, we got done and we poured this whole entire thing and we busted butt at it and stayed out there, made sure to finish everything off, make sure we had a good finish on stuff. And I was like, all right, cool. It's a little cool. I ain't got to be able to finish all the way, but we at least got a good trowel on it. Go in the house, go to sleep, come back the next day, and the neighbor's dog walked back and forth 3 or 4 times on my slab, and there's still footprints in my slab in the middle of my
God.
shop. Yeah.
that's hilarious.
BJ, going back to the white for epoxy. So
Yeah.
someone, where's our camera? Titanium dioxide.
In the computer.
Okay.
Add a little bit of that to anything that you want, like white. It's
Never-
basically like bleach.
Okay.
But it's a powder. It's a powder. You just add a little tiny bit, just like pigment. Add a little bit of that to the white. Because I got to a point. With like really old epoxy
Mhm.
that it was just like yellowing every single time I used it, and it was just like I combed the Instagram ether, and a few people were like, "Oh yeah, try this," and
Never-
I added a
never
little
heard
bit
of
to that. Yep, titanium dioxide. It's
FY, remember who's telling you this, BJ?
Matt,
So if when I pour the epoxy, if it catches, if it spontaneously combusts, I know who to yell at. Yeah.
it's not gonna.
It ain't no
It's like
epoxy that
pigment.
sound like a dog.
Pigment.
It's like pigment. It'll just stick to the table.
Yeah.
I need a new drink. You jerks.
I did. I'm glad. So that speaking of sticking stuff to it, so that the Ducks Unlimited board, I held it down with kettlebells. I instead, because the mold I was using, the mold I normally use has arms that come across it, and it's got stuff to hold everything down. Yeah. I just used one of my other molds for the size of the board I was making, and I was like, oh, I'll just grab a couple kettlebells and set it on the wood, and it should be fine. Poured the
Needs more
epoxy in.
cowbell. Bing, bing,
Yeah.
bing.
Pour the epoxy, get it all covered up, and I noticed one of the pieces of walnut's about a quarter of an inch thinner, so I put a piece of HDPE in between the kettlebell and that, so the kettlebell wouldn't stick. I come back the next morning to check it, and it had seeped up over the top of the other piece of walnut, and the kettlebell's right there, and I'm like, dang it. Luckily, it was still gummy
I
enough.
bet
could
you
get
said,
it out.
dang it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
For the PG crop out, he did.
Yeah.
And then he hears that the repeat of that song from Saturday Night Live. We need more cowbell.
cowbell.
Hang on a second, guys. I'll be right back.
Ding, 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 ding.
One of my favorite skits from Saturday Night Live was that.
Oh
one.
yeah. You know, it took him 2 years to get that skit in, right?
No way.
Yeah, he kept trying to pitch it, and they wouldn't do it.
Wow.
And then I forget who it was the host, and he was like, "It's the perfect time." Boom, and he pitched it. Oh, Christopher Walken.
They
And that's
got
when he
tired
pitched
of
it.
him.
Guys. It needed a little bit more.
Cowbell.
My freaking dog just came in here and crapped in my office. After my kid just let her out, and I'm sitting here, I'm like, something smells off. Like it smells like dog crap. And I look up, see my wife walking here with a Walmart sack and a freaking roll of paper towels. I'm like, what's going on? And she's dog crapped right in the door of your office. I'm like,
Oh, shit.
so yeah,
crap.
anybody
It's
want a
like-
dog?
We know what that dog thinks of you.
Yeah.
So now it stinks to high heaven in my freaking office. I'm just going to grab a candle and smell it.
She did it. It wasn't me, I promise.
Yeah.
Light a
No,
candle.
my daughter's telling me where it's apparently in multiple places.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
That is
She did.
behind that 3D printer, that 3D printer, and that one right there.
Cat did it up there.
You thought you were printing cat poop, but that was actually cat poop.
Thank you. All right. Well, we got the Febreze going.
There you go.
Joe, you getting any
Live
rain down there?
It got real cloudy this evening and windy. Man, it's windy outside.
Everyone knows it's windy.
We're supposed to, I think it's supposed to start raining Sunday, I believe.
That's when it's supposed to stop raining here. It's been raining since Tuesday here.
Really?
Yeah, we're under a flood warning like crazy right now.
Mhm.
Yeah, I heard their storms are supposed to be pretty bad again tonight in the Midwest.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, they
so
told-
Joey, we went through all of us. What are you working on tonight? Is there anything new you taking out of the box or
Box
everything
in.
got put back in?
Yep.
No, you did. You took some stuff out. It's right behind you. Now, other way.
No.
Right. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Well, I know you're working on a new project because I've seen a couple of your stories.
Yeah, I'm redoing I'm actually, it's not redoing. I'm finishing what I started a year, 2 years ago now, or a year ago. What are you laughing about, Wackerly?
Huh?
Huh?
My knee is. I had to scratch it.
I had to scratch it. No, I'm finishing the office project that I kind of strayed away from about a year and a half ago. So
He is
Oh,
his couch in
so
there
you're pulling
finally.
you're pulling a
Design.
mat and procrastinating.
yeah,
it was designed
actually,
2.5 years
Rubbing
ago.
off on them.
the couch is in there already. It's on the other side. You can't see it. So that's where I'm going to be doing the podcast from.
The real
Uh,
question is what color.
That's what I'm going to tell everybody from now on. Yeah, I got a project. It's going on. You just can't see it.
Yeah. So this is going to be where the new bamboo printer goes, right behind me, and I'm going to do some wall control on there, and that's going to hold all my. I had some wall control laying around in the shop.
As one does.
So you were going to do filament there. Now you're doing wall control.
But it's going to be the shelves for the filament.
Oh, okay.
Why don't you do the
Figured
rep cord walls?
Huh?
Why don't you do the rep cord walls?
Ripcord.
The stuff that I showed you that I did
Oh,
with the conduit.
well, because I want to be bougie and use wall control.
He is bougie.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, it
Yeah.
could
What's
cost
wrong
like
with
40
being
bucks to
bougie?
do it. 40 bucks to
mean-
do it. He's going to, get 80 bucks to do it. It's cool. That's Joey.
I already had it. I ain't had to spend
$40
nothing.
gave it to
$40
me.
saddle on a
They gave it to me.
$40 saddle on a $10 horse.
I'm
It's
just
been sitting
surprised
in
he
a
said he had
box.
the wall control lying around and he didn't say it was in the wall controls box.
It's been sitting
no,
in
it
the
was
box
in the
for
box.
4 years.
It was in the box.
Yeah.
It was
Listen,
definitely in the box.
listen, Linda, listen.
What's in the box?
I don't know
What's
what
in
the
the
hell's
box, man?
Everything's
What's
in
in
the
the
box in my
box?
shop. I'll never hear the end of it.
Honestly, Joey, I felt like you earlier when I was taking the cabinet down. I was just like, oh, what do we have here? Oh.
This is where I had it. I didn't know it was still here.
Well, the bad thing, I can't. Well, I'm not going to give y'all any more ammunition than you already have. But I'm working on this project because this is going to be where the new H2D bamboo is going to go on this side.
H2D2.
Yeah.
Right
Have
next
you gotten
to,
any
right
shipping
next to
information
the
for that yet?
Elegoo, huh?
No, I checked it last night. I haven't checked it today, but as of I did order some filament and stuff from them, and that already shipped. I got a shipping notification this morning, and I was like, "Oh, is that my printer?" Yeah, no.
Well,
Nope.
I'm gonna wait for the H1D to come out.
The R2D.
Yeah.
R2D2.
Artodito?
Luke, he
Artodito?
needs your help.
So I'm rearranging the office, and it's a mess right now, but hopefully I'll have it all straightened out and done fairly quick.
So- And I'll ask this to everybody with printers. Do y'all run APCs or
No.
UPCs? You don't?
No.
Why not?
Power's
Too
good here.
much- Too much money.
Very
They're
rarely
$100 from
lose any.
Costco.
Oh, the battery back.
I think.
You know how many printers I have?
You can run
with
4
yeah.
off of one.
Yeah, and I think on that statement that BJ is be giving us a gift since they're only $100.
Yeah.
I'm not buying them. No, I just
What?
bought 2 of them.
Well,
Have you
that's
seen
a bad
that?
deal.
Have you seen the pull on that the new bamboo printer? What it actually
And see,
contains?
that's why I would recommend it on that, because if you have multiple on one circuit, you're not. That gives you more of a buffer. Like for me, for instance, in my office, my whole stream setup here, printers, everything are all on one circuit.
Ooh, wow.
Don's messing with me now. Don's
Whoa.
asking me what's in the box.
And I can check, my UPC. If I start up both printers at the same time, it pulls like 75%.
Oh, wow.
Like it is it's pulling a ton of power, heating the beds and everything. So I just know, and I do it more for, if the power goes out, which we do deal with power outages. I reset the counter on mine 2 months ago, and in 2 months, it's had 44 occurrences of power loss.
Are you like in Tornado Alley or something like that? That's why.
No, we're just on an old power grid, and
Oh,
Texas power grid is
Where'd you get that UPC at?
Costco. Yeah, they got them on sale for $100 right now for the.
The UPCs are usually on the bottom part of the box, right there where they scan it.
Yeah, UPS.
UPS. That's what I meant. It's a 1350 watt.
I was seeing how long it would take. Thank you, Steve.
You're welcome, Matt.
I'm not. I used to call them APCs for certain.
Well, APC is a company who makes them.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
Yes.
that
They do
is
make it.
easy to confuse.
And so what are they called?
Yes.
UPS.
Kiss my butt. That's what they're called.
UPS.
Yeah.
No, that's
Uninterrupted
shipping
power
company.
supply.
That's a shipping company.
Yep.
So they're
Yep.
shipping.
So these
Okay.
are by Cyber Power. And,
Yeah, boy.
I mean, it's nice. It's got, I just think it's worth it. But I've got two now, one for my printers and one for all my computer gear. Because if everything is plugged into one, it gives me just sitting idle, I have a 5-minute runtime.
Wow.
Yeah.
If I
'cause
lost
with all the
power, if I lost power regularly, I would probably look into it. But I mean, knock on wood, we're pretty stable.
America.
Send me the link, BJ, please.
There's not. I don't think you can order it from their website. You got to go into their store.
Oh, we didn't got no Costco around here, I don't think.
You can get it from Amazon. I'll
Here,
send you a link.
No. He asked me. I'm going to send him one.
Y'all were
Link in
quick.
bio.
There's a link in the bio.
No.
Link in the bio.
Steve, BJ's buying these for us.
I did not
Send him.
say that.
It's in Instagram. It says it already.
Steve's got an affiliate.
Man,
Apparently
everybody
you can't
was
get this
jumping on
one.
that. I'll
You
send
can't
you a
get
link.
this one on Amazon.
I got to pay for those new blue spruce paring chisels.
Bunch of damn content creators.
Link
Dude,
is in the bio.
Influencers.
Man,
So these
Joey-
guys, I'm looking at chisels, and I'm like, oh, $300. That's not too bad. Come to find out, it's for one.
We had him on
Yep.
we had him on Lee Valley one night, and he's
Oh,
like,
God.
"Oh, those ain't too bad." And I was like, "Damn, Scott, you gonna splurge?" And he's like, "They're only whatever they were." And I'm like, "Scott, switch
That's
the
for
tab to
one.
the set," and he switched it to the set. And he's like, "God dang!"
Hey,
I'm done.
do you know who makes some amazing chisels? And they are by far my favorite chisels that I've ever used. Harbor Freight.
Oh, what?
I'm not worried about breaking them.
Nope.
I'll still use my Menard chisels for what them other ones cost.
What are you doing with them that you're afraid you're going to break them?
I'm clumsy.
They're
I
not
drop
pry
stuff.
bars.
What are you
What?
talking
You know
about?
what? I want to cut a dovetail real quick. I clean up a dovetail and then open a can of finish. I'm good. I don't got to go
Steve-
I don't got to go find a church key.
Steve, I use mine for opening up paint cans.
Yeah.
There you go.
I actually have a set of chisels that are just for opening cans, and they are probably my great grandfather's. They've been around forever, but they are just nasty looking. My dad used them for that, so I was like, that's what they're for.
Yeah.
I have a
Um,
decent set of chisels, but I have one chisel that's by the door for shipping and receiving or anything like that. It's using to, all use tool
I
that
get-
it's not supposed to be used for.
I've
So-
upgraded. I'm waiting for Temple Toolco to come out with those offset, those gooseneck.
Goosenecks.
They're gonna come out with them at some point this year.
Joey, speaking
waiting.
of Temple Tool, did you add that link in our show notes for this week? His Amazon store link.
No, but I can go in there and we can
Okay.
edit that. You're gonna need to get that link or tell me
I
where
will
to get it.
Just do the Temple Tools Instagram page. It's in their
Okay.
link tree.
I'll grab it and then and put it in there.
Y'all heard
These
what's
guys-
going on, right?
No, what's up?
So Chris, I don't know if y'all know Third Coast Craftsman, right?
Yep.
So his last video, he was making an urn for a friend's wife who passed. It was diabetes related, I believe, and so he's doing a portion of all sales they're donating from Temple Tools. They're donating to a I think childhood diabetes research.
Okay.
And I reached out to him the other day and just, I I knew he wouldn't have a problem if we talked about it, but just asked him, "Hey, are you okay with this?" And he's said he's very thankful that we thought of him to talk about it. So we're going to talk about it on the podcast Sunday and link it. So, but if y'all are looking for some very, very nice Japanese saws, go pick you up a set from Temple Tools on Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
I will second that.
They are
pretty great.
I
I don't have
yeah,
one. I've used one, and I'm going to order some. They are they are nice, and I've got the what are they called, Suizan or
Yes.
something?
Suzuki.
Suzanne.
Suzanne,
No,
yeah.
it's
Suzanne, I think.
Suizan.
It's Suizan or I don't know.
Yeah, one of those.
They're nice, but yeah, the Temple Tools ones, they just, I don't know what it is. The fit and finish of them are just so much nicer. They definitely put some thought into them.
They're light.
Yeah.
Cut great.
Mm-hmm.
They cut quick.
Yep.
They're
And I
good.
finally got the chance to use was it Badass or Bad Axe saws? Bad Axe, yeah. They're nice. I just don't like a West, because I really started with a fine tooth saw like that with a Japanese style saw, and I don't really like the Western style saws.
Well, it's a difference of you got a lot more power when you're pulling compared to
Yeah.
when you're pushing, and
And
it
it's
becomes
because
awkward and
Yeah.
keeping it under control.
Is it less flex? Is it less flex?
They're
also?
less
when you're
flex
pulling,
because it's a push. Because they have to stiffen up the Western saws because it's on the push stroke. And the guy at the booth made the comment. He goes, "Oh, you probably use nothing but Japanese style saws." I was like, "Yeah, that's what I've always used." He goes, "Yeah, this would be he goes, you probably wouldn't like the change." And then when you look at the cost difference, I mean, one of their saws versus, a Temple Tool saw that, in my opinion, cuts way better, it's 4 to 5 times the cost. So it's like, and the blades are not replaceable. You
And
gotta
that's what's
sharpen
good
them
about Temple Tool Co. The blades are fully replaceable.
and the blades are like $30-$40.
Well, even the saws, it's all very
They're
reasonable.
very
price.
reasonable. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Which I've
they're
had,
good.
I think in 6 years, I've gone through 2 blades on one of my saws.
Oh, that's what I ended up getting, Steve. I ended up ordering from Veritas the magnetic dovetail guide
Yep.
where you could set them on there and
Saw
it'll
sticks
guide
to
it
it with
down.
the magnets.
Yeah, they're real nice. And then I
Yep.
ended up what was the other thing that I got? The card scraper set from Veritas.
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
Those things are super freaking nice, man. With
Yes.
the handle. I mean,
So you
Oh,
get the carbide burnisher to
yes,
sharpen them?
I got the whole kit.
nice.
I need to get that.
I want
There, I
that.
put them in the
Oh.
link. I put their Amazon store in the link in the chat for us, the private chat.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I've got a set of card scrapers from, was it DMP Tools?
That sounds
D-
sounds
Or
DMT?
DFM.
DFM.
DFM, yeah.
Yeah.
And I need to figure out I need to learn how to sharpen them correctly.
Oh,
Nice.
Keith from Blackthorn. He gave me
Yeah.
some advice.
you ought to check out that Veritas setup. It's not expensive. It's actually a pretty good it's a guide to sharpen those card scrapers. It's really
Okay.
nice.
Yeah, because you
But
basically
the actual handles that you could set the card scrapers in, and it's contoured to place your thumbs and everything. I mean, it is nice.
Ooh, $125 for the set? That's
Everything.
what you're talking about?
Yeah.
The Veritas scraping set?
hmm
Ooh.
I do like that. When I was actually Tim's on Instagram
you
right
can-
now.
Get it through Woodcraft, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably. I was using
That's
I
going
was
on my
using
Christmas list.
I was using the card scraper without any of the frills and everything, and holy crap, I got some crazy blisters on my hands.
I 3D
Mm.
printed a thing for it that does the same thing. But
You know
yeah,
they
it's
come
a
in
lot
different
nicer.
thicknesses, right?
Yes. Card scraper.
Okay.
Mm-mm.
Oh, and that's another thing that I got. Is I
Whoa.
got that scraper, Veritas scraper plane. That thing, nice.
Ooh.
Nice.
See, I think that would be a great thing for me with doing the epoxy
Yay.
inlays, because I prefer to use a card scraper on the, when you're filling holes or stuff or doing inlays with
Yes.
epoxy versus sanding, just because you're not worrying about low spots. And yeah, having a scraper plane, I think that would make, that might be my
You
kicker
could-
to buy a scraper plane.
You can use that scraper plane a lot easier scraping them off. If you come
Mhm.
over, like what I've noticed with the Merca sander, you come and you try to just sand that epoxy. Next thing you know, you're sanding around that epoxy. Yep. So
Oh, yeah.
that scraper plane's a lot nicer and more forgiving than a sander.
Okay, yeah.
Yep.
Now, some of the stuff, like if I'm doing the charcuterie boards and doing inlays, I'm pouring the inlays on my CNC. So I'll just chuck up my flattening bit and just be done with it.
Yep.
But
Then-
on a bigger table, if I can't do that.
So that's what I do on my tables.
Mhm.
When I pour epoxy, I'll take caulk and run everywhere I'm going to pour epoxy on the
Build a
outside.
dam.
Not what you're talking.
Grow
I
up,
use
y'all.
white.
Come on.
I use white caulk, not black caulk. And,
Where
Ah.
surrounded by
and
children.
so I try to get.
Scott, I apologize
I
for
try
my
to get
co-host
like
here.
an eighth of an inch over. I try to get like an eighth of an inch over, so that'll settle down. And then what I do is I put it back on my flattening table, which my flattening table can do 6 foot wide, 16 feet long, and then I just reflatten it, top and bottom. And then,
All right,
I can
Joey.
sand it down from there.
Like, where did Joey go?
No, Joey's a tomato right now.
Yeah.
Which way did
What,
he go? Which way did who go?
So your flattening
we,
table.
We
is
need
it-
to mute Joey because,
Here, I can do that.
yep.
I have that ability. Your flattening table, is it linear rails? Is it a linear rail table
Yes.
or okay? Yeah.
Yeah, so so I built my table myself, and I've got angle iron along a whole 16 foot both sides, and I built my own sled that rides on that rail. Yep,
Dang.
and that thing has, for what I've built that for, that thing has paid for itself probably 30 or 40
Oh, yeah.
times.
So
Oh, yeah.
that 15-foot table that I did years ago, and it was for a veterans group.
Yep.
And I will say, props out to Super Clear when they did it. They provided all the epoxy because it was for a veterans organization. It's a company, it's a group. So not only are they a roofing company, but they also bring in recently, military guys that have recently left the service to help them with resumes and all that stuff. So they reached out and they're like, hey, we want to do this. We bought all this stuff. Can you give us tips? And I showed up to their shop and I was like, here's my first tip. Bring it to my shop. Let me do it. Because they bought 20 gallons of tabletop epoxy to do this
Ooh.
table. Yeah. So, but anyway,
Was that
so when
quarter inch
inch at a time. Yeah.
Not even. It's like a 16th to
Yeah.
less.
And it was a brand I'd never heard of. But anyway, so we got it poured, and of course it wasn't perfectly flat. So I went to flatten this 15 by 3 foot wide table. I went and bought is it a Bosch power planer? One of the
Or
power
Makita.
hand planes?
Or Makita.
No, it wasn't Makita because it's blue. So I think it was Bosch.
Makita's blue, bud.
No, Makita's green.
No, Makita's blue.
Well, this was not a Makita because it did not have Makita on it. And Makita used to be green. The last time I bought a Makita tool, they were green. So I still think they're green. And aren't they? They
wait
go
a
white
minute.
and black
Maybe
too.
they are green.
They're
More
blue.
aqua.
Just to let you know, when you start doing that stuff, maybe go get a colorblind test. That's how I learned.
Yeah, ask Matt Wackler. You know what color it is.
I don't argue
Like-
colors.
No,
Hey.
No,
I have a
that's it.
background in
That's
color
it.
theory, so don't test me.
Hitachi.
Sure wasn't
I got-
Macabo?
No, it was Bosch.
Metabo?
I swear, I will go out and find it tomorrow. I swear it was Bosch. But anyways, I flattened this 15 by 3 foot table with a freaking electric hand plane. I will
That don't sound
never.
fun.
No, and I bought that tool 6-7 years ago. I have never used it since.
Oh,
'Cause
I got some of those.
absolutely hate
Yeah.
that thing. And I know like it has its purposes, but I'm like, God, yeah. And after that, it's
Yeah.
like, I'm just gonna build a flattening jig.
It's
No,
a
I-
pain.
So right now, like if you look at my video, that's my flattening table. It's hanging on the wall right now. It just folds down.
Wow. Okay.
Yep. So when I'm done, I can take my winch and just hoist it up, and it rests against the wall.
Yeah.
And then
There's a
and then I
guy
have
follow
to-
on. There's a guy following
Then I have
TikTok
to
that
get my
has.
deal and. Yep.
Yeah, he's got a flattening table like that, but his whole thing winches up to the ceiling. I can't
Oh,
remember his
yeah.
name. Yeah,
Yeah.
and
So
yeah, because
I've got mine. I got mine, so it sits perfectly flat. That
Mhm.
when it comes down, because my floor will slope just a little bit from coming off of my 2-car garage into my shop. It slopes just a little bit.
Mhm.
So when that thing comes down, it sits. I could take a level and put on it, and it's perfect. Now that doesn't mean that everything has to be level. You're looking for flat.
You're looking for flat. Yeah, you don't care about level. You
Yep.
care about
No,
square and plumb. Yep.
yeah, but I still want it flat and level,
Yeah.
just because I use that for epoxy sometime on my big tables. I'll take a sheet of plywood and put 2 sheets of plywood on that, and then that ends up being my pour table also.
Oh, nice.
So then I want it level also.
Yeah.
And
That's
but
cool.
it doesn't matter. I've still had 5 gallons of stinking epoxy sitting on the floor after I get done with a pour too. So
Yep.
it is what it is.
Wow.
Yeah, that's why I need to finish the extension of my shop, because that will free up room in my shop, because the extensions, which actually so I'm going to ask everybody's opinion on this. So the walls in this extension I'm building will not hold any downward weight. The roof is self-supporting. It's a metal roof and frame. Am I going to be overkill? Because I priced it out going versus 2x4 to 2x6. It's not a huge difference. It's a couple $100 at the end of the day. Do you think
Where
it's
you're going to
really
where you're going to run into problems is when you insulate, because now you got to fill that void. If you go with 2x6, you can't leave a void in there because it's going to leave condensation.
Well, so my plan was to do that 2-inch thick pink foam, and then do insulation on top of that.
No,
You can't do
just-
that.
no, you
Spray foam.
just do batted, do 2x4 studded walls with bat insulation. Why do you want to add
Yeah.
the pink foam in there?
You can also look at, I believe, Rockwool has a bat that will fit for a 2x6 wall.
2x6. Well, so and that's
Well,
the
they
other
have
thing
it. It's
too,
just
is-
more
is-
expensive. I mean,
Yeah.
you're talking a
I've-
lot of money right now for insulation.
Yeah, and that's the
A
thing.
lot.
When I re-insulated my main shop, when we did the remodel on it, I bought enough insulation to do the extension. So I already
Yeah.
have
So
the
What,
2 by
but what
the
what's-
size?
What is
2x4.
So let's
it's
not
all
think
2x4.
about. Yeah, let's think about this. What's the reasoning go between 2x4 and 2x6? Is it because of columns? You're trying to get around columns and bring
No.
them out, or what? What's the
all,
reasoning?
all the columns
No.
are 2x4s. My thinking is because it's all that whole building. The reason for that addition is lumber storage,
Mhm.
and just to beef up the walls for lumber racks and
2x4
heavier
will
stuff like
hold
that.
it.
2x4.
Oh,
will hold
2x4 will be fine.
it. Yeah.
you gotta remember something. So if it was me sitting here in Iowa, when I built my shop, I did 2x6 walls so I could do the insulation.
Yeah.
One, the insulation for heat, one for my AC and also for sound barrier.
Yeah.
Now I get a little bit different temperatures than you do in Texas. You would be fine with 2x4 walls.
Okay. And that's just like I said, I was just
wouldn't waste the
thinking
money.
little overkill. Okay.
Yeah,
And that's
would
say
not
it's not going to be an environmentally controlled room. It is strictly for storage.
Oh,
Well, then why
what
are you
I'm-
even going to
Well, why are
insulate
you
it?
going to
Well, 'cause
insulate it then?
at least right now, it's not going to be. I will eventually do it. So it's kind of one of those to do it, but also to be able to. I want to
Oh.
insulate it for moisture control because I'm going to put dehumidifiers in there.
then,
So when I'm drying material, it's also going to be used for drying. So that was kind of my thought process behind the insulation too.
you're going to be all right with 2x4s. And then what I would also recommend is do spray foam insulation. That's what we're doing up north anymore. Everything's
See,
spray foam insulation.
The problem,
and
the
it gives
is-
you a much tighter insulation, and it actually seals the foundation and it seals everything.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
if you go with spray foam and you don't have the correct HVAC to suck the humidity
Well,
out,
I,
you're going to end up with
I-
condensation.
yeah,
I won't disagree with that, but
yeah.
So they make a bat insulation, okay, that has a 12 mil poly on the back of it, and then it's got overlapping joints, so that way you can overlap it to the next one. You can seal up all your joints. They use it for steel construction, and you said you have a steel roof on the top of this, right?
Yeah.
And it would be in there 5 foot wide. They're not, so you
Okay.
can. It's 5 foot wide.
Yeah. And that's what I need for the ceiling because the purlings with their spacing.
Right.
Because I was originally thinking about spray foam in the ceiling, but the cost, because the last estimate I got to do a full closed cell 2 inches worth of foam for the entire thing. So it's a 22 by 12 foot building, essentially. It was $5,000 to spray foam.
Oh,
12 by, what was it?
12 by 22 with an 8 foot ceiling. It was
Just for the ceilings or everything?
everything.
uh,
3 walls because one wall is the back wall of my garage.
Yeah, that's
That's
a lot
insulated.
of money.
Yeah, and I was like,
no way. That's too high. We did at the farm. We did a 42 by 30, and it
Mhm.
was less than $5,000. And they did 2
Yeah, but that's
coats
the,
How long ago was that?
2 years ago.
See, I got this estimate almost 6 years ago.
Yeah, that
And
was 2 years ago. It
so
was
spray foam's-
42
I know it's-
by 42 by the building 60, and we did 30. So 42 by 30. And we
Okay.
spray
And down-
foamed the whole thing, and it was less than $5,000.
What happened? We lost somebody.
Yeah, he took off.
He took off.
He'll be back.
And I know spray foam is getting more common down here because a lot of the
Yeah.
builders are using it. Years ago, I remember when an uncle of mine had a building spray foamed, and everybody thought he was absolutely nuts when he did it
Yeah.
25 years ago. Now it's becoming pretty much the norm.
Yeah.
So, and you can buy
Now-
kits. I mean, I had priced up the kit for
Yeah.
$1,000. I could do the roof myself for $1,000.
Just make sure it's
Yeah.
closed cell, not open cell.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Yeah, 'cause
so
of the
that's what I can't tell you. They did 2 layers. So they sprayed 1 layer, then come back and sprayed another layer.
hmm
But I don't know. I can't remember. I'd have to ask my dad what the depth that give us, what the
If
R
it's
value.
place cell, it's probably
what the
2 inches.
R value, what the
Yeah.
R value that was that it gave us. I don't remember. I just know they did two layers.
Okay.
But it was that was less than $5,000, and that makes that
Okay.
building like tight. That's the one thing we spray foamed when we remodeled my parents' house. Everything got spray foamed, and that made that house like super tight
Okay.
Yep.
with everything, and it's like almost too tight.
Well, that's also important, Scott. You don't want to make it too.
Yep.
Yeah,
wanna make-
otherwise
Okay,
you got to
okay,
end up
Brad.
putting air exchangers in.
Yes.
Yeah.
A
Yeah,
lot of the
no,
new
no.
green
Hey,
building
no,
codes and
that's-
everything, you
No,
end up
because you
sealing everything so tight that you actually have to
Mhm.
recycle the air inside.
Yes.
well then
Yep.
you come in the front door and you close the door and then all the windows
Yes.
smash out.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
like
Yep.
that's
Yeah.
important.
And then you have to now you have to worry about with the air exchangers, you have to worry about taking all your cool air or your
But-
hot air in the summer or in the winter. And now you have to deal with that
Yeah.
so that you're not creating a moisture issue,
Yeah.
right?
And
Right.
this is
Because
an
of the
old-
condensation.
This is an old farmhouse. So you go from one extreme to the next.
Yeah.
And we do have the air exchanger, all that. It circulates air all the time, and but it went from one extreme to the next in this old house.
Okay.
It's a great program,
But-
by the way.
Yep. I'm not gonna lie. I'll do that insulation all the time. Anything I
Okay.
build.
And that's the thing, like, because like I said, I've already got the insulation for the walls because that was already purchased. Because when I lucked out and caught it on sale when I bought it for the main shop, and I was like, well, let me just go ahead and it was one of those you have to buy so much to get like 20 or 30% off.
Yep.
And the extra that I got technically for free at the end of the day was enough to do, this whole extra extension.
Yep.
I need to get it done. It's just, when I went to do it, the price of lumber skyrocketed. It went from, less than $1,000 to frame it, or $1,000 to frame it inside it, to $3,000 or $4,000 to frame it inside it. Because that's all I have to buy. I've got the OSB to go on the walls inside. I've got the insulation. I just have to buy the studs. I got to frame it and get the exterior walls put up. That's all I've got left to buy. And that's the other
Lumber's
thing.
pretty. And 2x4s have gone down,
They've
quite a
gone
bit.
down, and
but
Yeah.
plywood hasn't.
no, and
So-
that's like
Yeah,
when
it's
I
probably
bought
going to
the
end up going up again.
Yeah, the OSB I got, it's 1/2 inch, and I got it for $10 a sheet when I bought it all. No.
Yeah, you ain't touching that for
$10 a
less than-
sheet.
I mean, it possibly fell off the back of somebody's truck, but
Hey, now there are deals like that. If you ever listen to like tractor trailer wreck stuff like that, where they carry in plywood and stuff,
Yeah.
you can actually there people that sell that, and they'll sell it for like pennies on the dollar.
yeah, this was I'd say it fell off the back of a truck. I bought it from a builder, and he collects all the overrun from every job.
Yep.
And he was having to clean out his storage building, and the guy that wired up my shop was like, oh, hey, yeah, it's my cousin. They're having to clean out some of their storage buildings. He's got 40 some odd sheets of 1/2 inch OSB. He said he'll sell it for $10 a sheet. And I'm like, okay. I had to drive 2 hours to go get it, but at the time it was $33 a sheet, 10 minutes down the road
He-
from me. I'm like, yeah,
And
that's
he got
worth
it for free.
Oh yeah. Because it was like I said, it was all overrun at that point. So
Yeah, it was paid
he
for.
yeah, and what's funny is when we finished loading it up, I handed him the cash and he goes, I'm going to the casino. See you later. I'm like, hey, bro, hope you make some money.
Yeah.
If
My-
not, it didn't cost you anything. That's free
My
money
bro-
for you, dude.
Yeah, my brother, my brother-in-law, they're both electricians, and they go to the big job sites, and whatever's extra, it's just sitting out by the big roll-out
Oh, yeah.
dumpsters. They pull up with the pickups, throw it all in, drive home.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's not uncommon to have 10 or 15 sheets of stinking plywood.
Yeah.
Well,
the
they're
problem-
coming
and
on this.
I don't know how it is up there, but down here, they're not building houses with plywood anymore.
Zip.
Yeah.
Well, it's all
They're
zip
using-
board
No.
or it's all stuff that
They're not
what are
even,
they using?
unless it's a high end house, then they'll use zip. If not, it's some kind of it's
that
I
foam.
think they call it weather seal board. It's essentially, to looking at it, it looks like cardboard with a waterproof membrane on one side and aluminum flashing side on the other, and it is not even a 16th of an inch thick. And that
What?
and they're engineering. They've got engineers on these houses, and they're putting plywood in strategic locations for strength, and the rest of the house is wrapped in this paper stuff.
Hmm.
So it is, and then they're slapping brick on the outside of it.
Oh hell no.
Well,
Yeah, and
I
it's-
guess you
it's-
don't have to worry about snow load or anything like that down in Texas. So
But see,
Yeah.
that's
the only thing you got to worry about is tornadoes that are just gonna you
yeah, and they're
have them
not.
fall like a card house.
And that's the thing. This last a month ago when we had the big storm come through, there was 2 neighborhoods about an hour north or west of me that they had all the houses. The stick framing was up, and when that storm came through, it was 35 houses. The roofs were sitting on the ground,
Yeah.
Oh,
and and there were several of them where the siding was already up. They were dried in, but it still knocked them over because there's no strength. And it's the sad part is it is a national builder. It's D.R. Horton that's doing it.
And we do a lot of work with D.R. Horton down here in Georgia and in
Yeah.
Florida. But the problem that you have is generationally, no one's there to take the contractor that was actually building these things, making all your
Mhm.
tiebacks, making all your stuff that went in, and now you have inspectors that don't know what to look for loads,
Yep.
look for any of that kind of stuff. It's happening everywhere, and we see it everywhere. Where we're basically people. I do construction materials testing, and we do a lot of inspections, a lot of building inspections, stuff like that, and you see it constantly. And they'll go out there and they go, well, oh, where's that on my iPad? And they're trying to figure out how
Yeah.
to do a 3-stud corner or kickbacks or hurricane ties or anything like that. They ain't got a clue. They don't have
Yeah.
a clue of what's going on right now, and it's because you don't have an educated people in blue collar industry that can
Yeah.
handle this stuff anymore.
Well, and you have a lot of these builders now that are saying, "Oh, we have our own inspector. You don't need an inspector." Or they're not letting the inspectors come in until after the sale of the house.
Then I'm
And
not
then it's-
buying that house.
No, and because there's a couple inspectors that I follow on social media, and I've got a friend of mine that does it, and he's been doing it for, I mean, I graduated high school 20 years ago, so it's almost since we graduated high school. And he'll tell you, he's like, if a builder tells you, "Oh, you don't need an inspection," walk away.
Mhm.
Don't. They're hiding things.
Somebody's going to build me a house and they say I don't need an inspector. I'm going to tell them you can go pound sand, or I'm going to hire
Yep.
my own inspector to come back behind
Yep.
their so-called inspector and
I-
inspect each phase of that build
Mhm.
to make sure it's done correctly.
And one of the things that I know in Texas, you're a little bit more flat as far as, especially if you're south of Dallas and stuff like that, you're a little bit more flat. Where here, sometimes we have 60-foot fills. Well, what they do is they'll come through and clear all the trees out,
Mhm.
lay them all down, and put fill over top of them. And then, 5 years down the road, you got rot coming through,
Yep.
and you got no
Do they
trees. It gets
remove-
that- It's
do they
just
pop
horrible.
do they pop the stumps, or they just grind them down?
They just
No,
push them
and-
down,
and-
and
So now if they hire people like us, we'll sit there and monitor that and make it all stripped, make sure they pass proof roll, make sure everything's nice
Yeah.
and all your foundation of your
Yep.
build, it starts out good. But in to educate, like D.R. Horton's one of them, they have educated their buyers that, hey, we pay somebody to sit here and make sure all the grading goes in correctly so that your house isn't going to settle. Because if you look at what your building says, it says you have 1 year. 1 year to go back after that contractor. So
Yeah.
if after 5 years you walk in and you don't have your garage don't have a floor anymore
Yeah.
because you had a sinkhole, you're
You're
SOL.
done, yeah. And in Texas, almost every builder in Texas gives you a 10-year warranty on the foundation, and that's because of the clay soils we have.
Mhm.
Because and they're like, I don't think there's anything you can do aside from building your house on piers up off the ground, and that's putting piers 20 feet in the ground. You're never
Yeah.
going to stop a Texas foundation from shifting. Like,
You do have expensive clays,
yeah,
but there are ways with beams and stuff like that you can
Yeah.
handle those kind of things. But it's
My
yeah,
buddy
uh,
drilled.
people are gonna you got to be able to pay for it.
Yeah, that's the thing
Yep.
is that you can try to compensate. My buddy had a drill rig come in and they drilled, I think, 200 core holes down and filled with concrete to support the
wow.
foundation.
Micro
Underneath, that
piers.
was before
Yep.
basically like putting piers underneath the
Yeah.
slab.
Mhm.
Now he could afford to do that, right?
Yeah.
Common folk ain't gonna be able to afford to bring in something like that and do it, you know. Which I'm pretty sure it helps. I mean, the ground's still gonna move. I don't care what you do. It's still gonna there's still gonna be some settling at some point,
Oh yeah.
you know.
Yeah, I mean, my old house, because it had the piers, there, the whatever they do, not the piers, but the, where they cut the deeper parts of concrete in the dirt, whatever those are called.
Spread footings.
Your piers,
Yeah.
your piers
I
and
guess it
beams
is
are your beams.
yeah,
Your
beams.
beams.
They did that, and it was a tension slab, and they came through before they pour the slab. They have this. It's essentially a bobcat with this water jet thing across the front that drills down 10 feet into the ground, and I guess it's a soil compactor. And
Yeah, footings, Dan said footings.
after what, 10 years, almost 10 years in that house, we had a half-inch differential across 2,000 square feet of house. And the people that were buying it, they were nervous about it. They were like, oh, because they were from Chicago, where I guess houses don't settle.
Yes, they do.
And they were like, oh no, it's, or they had heard that how bad Texas foundations were, and they wanted us to fix the foundation with that little of a give. And I ended up having to have 2 separate foundation contractors come in and inspect it. And both of them were like, no, we want to make money, but we're not going to rip you off. Like, this foundation is perfectly fine. There's no cracking. There's no cracking in walls. Everything is fine. They're like, this amount of settling is minimal, but it happens.
Do most houses in Texas have basements, or are
There's
they all slabs?
All slabs.
So
Might
what do
have
they
the
normally
older
do
houses
for
do
a
all-
foundation? Do they
What's
just
that?
go? What do they normally do for a foundation? Are they only
Well,
going
depending on
like
what you
12
wanna
inches
do.
down?
Well, it's all up to you. Sometimes they
Yeah.
just they'll shoot grade and they just build up from the ground.
Yeah.
But most, like, if you're like down here, we got a lot of black clay. If you're smart enough or they'll usually like take some off the top and then start building back and bring a crow's foot in and actually like tamp it with the crow's foot steamroller,
Yeah.
and then they start building up from there.
Put sand in and all that. Yeah.
Depending, because if you buy farmland that's been farmed for 40, 50 years, that land is loose. I mean, it's
Yep.
loose. So you've got to compact it, because if you just go straight on top of it, man, that you're asking for problems.
So
Yeah.
the way that buildings are designed it's like saying a dam doesn't leak. Okay, all dams leak. You control where the water goes,
Yeah.
but they all leak. Okay, at some form or fashion. All buildings settle. Okay, they settle or move at some point of it, but you design it into it. So, like if I'm doing a 1 million square foot building, I figure from corner to corner, I'm looking for no more than 1.25 inches of settlement is what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
So that means that you have a differential of that, because of there's without spending buku dollars, coming in and putting agro piers or micropiles or caissons or something of that nature. You're not going to get that. So we all try to figure it out based off the soil type, based off the bearing pressure that it's allowed. What kind of can I get away with? The cheapest spread footing is the most conventional way of doing that. When you have expansive clays like that, you're looking for something to make the soil not as expansive. So you do maybe soil prep with agro, or putting grade beams in and then pulling tenons, something of that nature. There's different ways to do different things, but it's all in how much money that you're willing to spend.
Yeah. So like,
At the end of the
to give
day,
you an idea, so the extension, when I added it onto my shop, it's a 4-inch thick slab, but the beams are a foot deep. So in some areas it's 16 inches thick. And the only reason they did that, and honestly it was kind of done by mistake, because they thought it was actually going to be like a house or something built on it. So the concrete crews, it's all they do is build barn dominiums and houses. So they built it like a house. They could have gotten away with 10-inch piers, just because the load that's on it. But yeah, it's very rare to see a slab over 4 inches thick in Texas. You know, it's
Yeah,
your
so
piers
when-
and your beams that are thicker.
Houses are usually built on like a 1,500-pound, PSF footing, where you get into your bigger buildings are more of a 3,000 to 4,000, and then you get into your high rises where you're in your kips, and so it's all based off that settlement, based off the soil structure, and once you get high enough, sometimes you got to drill down until you hit aggregate, competent rock to be able to support it.
Yeah,
So-
but no, if you put a basement on a house here in Texas, honestly, in probably less than a year, you're gonna have walls caving in. And it's not even just that too. The water table out here is so high.
Mm-hmm. That's your
I
reasoning.
mean, you're gonna have a swimming pool. You know, because I think in some areas you can drill down less than 20, 30 feet, and you're pulling well water.
Well, see, like in Chicago, you talked about Chicago not settling. Well, Chicago, they dig basements, right? But
Yeah.
they have to dig down deeper and put in a sump,
Yeah.
because the groundwater is going to find the path of least resistance,
Mhm.
which is going to
And-
be down that wall and hit that sump.
Yes, cinder block is extremely porous.
So-
yeah,
Yeah.
So to give you an idea, my basement where I'm at, our water table could be anywhere from a foot to 2 foot at times.
yeah.
But my basement, I've got a tile that runs all the way around my house that runs
it's a
into a
sump.
sump.
Mm-hmm.
And
Okay.
that sump will run. So when there's flooding going on like we had last year, I got lucky. My house is a little higher than some of my neighbors, and some of my neighbors had a foot of water in their basement. I didn't, but I've also got 2 sump pumps running because I've got an extra sump pump in my house just because I'm a farmer and I'm gonna have extra shit. And
Yeah.
I actually had a 3-inch Honda motor with a water pump on standby also. So a lot of these houses that got basements, a lot of the newer ones have a tile that run all the way around that run into a sump pump. And if that sump pump's running constantly, a lot of times it'll keep up. And it takes the pressure off the walls.
Mm-hmm.
So then walls don't cave in. Now,
Yeah.
in some of these towns where it flooded and them sump pumps give way, the water pressure got so hard on them walls. If somebody would try to start sucking out their basement, if the water got in there, you're better off letting it flood.
Because
And
you're
then let the
equaling
water
that
go-
pressure. You're equaling
Oh,
that
wow.
pressure out.
Yep, let the water go down naturally.
And then pull-
Because
and pump it up.
some of these people that would start to grab a motor, a pump with a Honda pump with a hose, and they
Yeah.
start to pump out their basement. Next thing you know, walls were collapsing.
Wow, I didn't think about that.
Yep, because there was so much pressure on them walls.
Yeah.
And also up in
Yeah.
those areas, you do a lot of testing on the soils, so that way you can tell
Yes.
where your water table is, how many gallons per minute you're going to have. Are you going to be able to keep up with the water? How many sumps do you need to be able to do it? How big is your
Yep.
drain tile? How much do you need in your weeping for your
Yep.
walls? All that stuff.
David,
Yeah.
what part of Texas are you in?
He's in Amarillo.
Okay, he's west of it,
Yeah,
west
so-
of me then.
Yeah.
Well, in north.
That's why he said something about snow earlier. I'm like,
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
they're
I
supposed to
figured
get-
he was in the Panhandle.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's supposed
Yeah.
to get cold this, I guess,
Yeah.
Sunday or so, or tomorrow night. Supposed
Yeah,
to be
it's getting
in
down to the
30s.
30s here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I just looked it up that, for my county, the average water table is 360 feet, but all the reports are from 20 years ago that I can find. At least what's
Yeah.
pulling up on the website. So I know that's outdated. But like
We
right
could
now
get-
with it raining,
Yeah.
like it is, my ground is saturated. Like it is severely saturated.
Well, even on the driest of driest, you'll hit water around 60 feet, but it's not good water.
No.
You got to go
Well,
to
the,
about
and
go about 100, 110 foot. That's what our wells are around here.
okay,
to
and
get
so
good
that's
water.
that's what makes sense as far as the steep, because this is a well water map, not not actual ground. Okay, so yeah, and so and that's the other thing. Like right now, my inside my shop, my floor is sweating because of the groundwater.
So you didn't. So when
Well,
you're, and then you didn't build your house, right? You didn't build
No,
it.
the shop, my garage shop is 40 years old.
Yeah,
So they
didn't
put
throw
a vapor barrier.
Nope.
Yeah.
And so
Gotta
when
have
it rains
a
like
vapor barrier.
this, and it's only in one corner. It's over by, luckily it's where my CNC's at. So there's never wood sitting on the ground over there. But yeah, you can walk out there and throw a paper towel on the ground and it'll soak up, it'll fill up a paper towel. So I just have to run, kick my AC unit into dehumidification and
So
whatever.
and around your around your house or whatever, you don't have any kind of drain tile or anything like that for
Nope.
to take on any kind of water that might get to the house.
No, it's so on the side of the house I'm on, there is it's essentially a concrete gutter system that runs the perimeter of the house.
Yeah.
And so
So you're controlling it on top of the ground instead of under the ground because
yes,
of the
but
soil type.
What I need to do is I need to put in and we talked about this. I need to add the French drains to the backyard to get rid of some water. Just to get it away from the patios and stuff. But it's also because they didn't grade houses the way they do now back then. And the yard is graded. The highest point of my yard is at my fence. So all the water runs
towards the foundation.
No. Yeah. And so my goal is to get a mini skid steer or a skid steer in here and just obliterate my backyard and cut it down.
You usually can find those guys like around here. There's a guy that has a little mini dozer. He pulls it on a utility trailer, basically, just a heavy duty one. And those guys, I don't know about up there. Probably everything going to be about 10 times higher up in North Texas. But down here, he goes $100 an hour, and that guy can do a lot of work in an hour.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
With that little mini dozer, it's pretty cool setup. I had him come stockpile some brush for me.
Yeah.
And level a lot of stuff out. And I mean, he's like, I'm charged. It's a minimum of an hour. And I'm like,
yeah.
Dude, he got a lot done.
I can rent one of those mini dozers for $200 a day. So, I just need to go do it. But right now I can't because the ground's so wet. If I did it, I'm then going to have to get a wrecker or something out here to pull the dang thing out of the ground.
That's what they make LGP for.
Yeah.
They make dozers with low ground pressure.
Literally,
they can almost run over your foot and you wouldn't, as long as you're wearing steel toe, you wouldn't really feel it. It's just low ground pressure the tracks are so wide that the ground pressure that they're putting out is nothing.
Okay. Yeah, but I'm pretty sure those aren't the ones I can rent from Home Depot or United Equipment. United, yeah.
No, those are all skinny tracks or tires. Yeah.
Yeah, but you need to wait till it dries up because you're just going to make a muddy mess out there and it's just going to be big clods. It's not going to spread. And be junk.
Yeah.
You'll hate your life.
But yeah, pretty much middle of the yard back. I just need to go in there and cut 6 inches a foot off of it and move dirt around and then put some new grass seed down and call it a day.
Nice.
Yeah, it's just stuff to do.
Stuff to do. We got a lot of that stuff to do.
It never ends.
Never ends.
Being that I've done testing in almost every state in the United States. Well, I have done it in every state in the United States, but just looking at the differences of what you have to do in each state or each region. So if you look at it by region, by soil region, it's just amazing to me. Sometimes like Scott, he's digging his footings 4 foot. You guys wouldn't even think of that in Texas.
No. Well, and like I look at my dad's place in Colorado, I don't think they have footings because they're sitting on the side of a mountain. They had to bring in like dynamite to blast out for his basement.
And so they have to anchor to that rock too. So they
Yeah.
anchor to it. They drill in and anchor with epoxy, and then come back out with rebar to it, and then attach it with footings
Yeah.
with concrete. So it's a totally different. But if you go down into the valleys of Colorado, now they're worried about all the expansive clays, and you can't let it get wet because it'll heave your house up. And then the other
that
one
was-
is the argon gas. I think that's what it's called.
Not
Radon?
Radon. They gotta constantly put radon in inspections inside of everything.
That's
So-
big in the Northeast.
Totally change the subject because I want to get back to the house talk on that. So I was listening to the We Built a Thing podcast, and Mark has been dealing with the radon stuff, and he just got his radon system set up. In all his research, he found that in Europe they have radon spas where you literally go sit in buildings, in rooms that they pump radon gas into because it's supposed to have healing properties. So it's like, what if he made the joke, or someone made the joke, that what if we find out in 50 years that the reason we're all sick all the time is because we're trying to get rid of all this radon, and we need the radon to keep us alive, and the Europeans were right all along. Radon's good for us. I mean, I don't want to test the theory, but
well, if they're going to
No,
spas over it, why don't you sell like plane tickets to your house? Hey, come on down.
Yeah. That's what I think that's what he said.
You know,
You got a
going back,
basement for you
built-in-
to sit in.
Built-in radon spa. But
going back to the foundation, my grandma's house, when it was on Pier and Beam,
Mhm.
but that house was built back in the early 60s, late 50s, and the house was picked up and moved when she passed away.
Yeah.
And they came in there
house I grew up in.
they came in there to remove the piers, and they thought they were just going to come with the backhoe and just kind of wiggle them and push them. Oh hell no! Those things were poured in place,
Mhm.
and they went down, and at the bottom they had a massive bell at the bottom of
Really?
it, which you could see protruding out of the ground. Dude,
Was
you
just-
should have seen what they took out of the ground with that
Wow.
stuff, and all it rebar in it. I mean, those things were hell for stout.
that's better than the house that we lived in, because it was just concrete blocks sitting on concrete pads, and you had to get up there a couple times a year with a 10-ton jack and jack up certain areas so you could open and close doors. During the summertime you couldn't go out the front door sometimes because the ground. Yeah.
I tell you what, in her house, I'd never remembered, because she lived right my parents' house and her house. They were, right one behind the
Yeah.
other, right? And I'd never remembered having any issues in that home. Of course, that house was built with
It was built the right way.
Real 2x4s
dimensional lumber
and-
when it
yeah.
was true 2x4.
Yeah.
I mean, it was stout stuff.
But see, and when you talk about framing and stuff, what I think is crazy is where my dad's at in Colorado, they build their houses to hurricane standards because of the winds that they get through the mountains. He's told me that they've had sustained winds up to 80, 90 miles an hour for days at a time. And it's like, so what do you do? He goes, oh, it's all hurricane tie. It's 2x6 construction, and just the way they build them, they're built to that.
And if you do those hurricane tie straps correctly, they go all the way down to the foundation, all the way up to the roof ties, and wrap around over the rafters.
Over the top,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Down the other side.
And that's when we finally build our final home, or our dream home, because of what we deal with in Texas, because we do get some pretty high wind storms. I know it's a little more expensive, but it's one of those, like, why not? Why not go ahead and do hurricane ties, and why not do certain things to prevent?
Some
certain
people
things from
really get
happening?
into the Wizard of Oz and like to see their house fly away.
And see,
Storm
See, I've
cellar.
always joked that my dream home, it's the first 10 foot of walls are reinforced concrete walls.
Yeah.
bunker.
Yeah, essentially it's a bunker above ground. Oh, let's go to the storm shelter. I'm sitting in my living room. I'm already in it.
Hey, I just
stay away
got
from
done
the
doing an
windows.
inspection. I just got done doing an inspection on a guy's house, and he built his basement, which is freaking enormous. But basement, and half of it is a panic room, is what it said on it.
Yeah.
Oh,
And so it's got one door going in, and that was it. And it was a solid steel door that closes all the way up. Yeah.
There was it's been about a year ago, and I forget the area of the country where a string of tornadoes had gone through, but like 10 years before, that town that this storm chaser that I follow that he was in had been hit 10 years ago, and just wiped out this town. Well, all these people rebuilt, and this one old guy decided, you know what, I'm going to make sure my family's safe, and he built. It was 2 foot thick cinder block reinforced with concrete and rebar with a steel plate roof on it and all this stuff. And like this guy, the storm chaser's going house to house to try to find people. And he could hear banging on this metal door and went over, and it was that. And that was all that was left of the house. And he's talking to the old man, and they get him out, and they're fine. They're a little shooken up. And the old man's looking at it, and he goes, "See, honey, I told you we would have been better off than just staying in the basement, because the basement was gone. Like the walls of the basement had collapsed. The only thing standing was this panic room that he built." And she's like, "I guess I'll never tell you stupid for building things a little more than they should be built." And he's like, "Hey, we're still here."
I've been watching, I guess with all the weather, it's trending, tornado stuff, and they're making those above ground steel shelters. So like if you have a home and it doesn't have a basement up in Tornado Alley and stuff, this company came out and made this steel, and I'm looking at them and I'm like, huh. So you're gonna tell me, what is it? What do they categorize them, like a 3, 5? What is it?
Yeah.
EF 1
5.
through 5. Yeah.
I'm like,
or 0 through 5. Yeah.
You're gonna tell me that you sank into the foundation, basically, concrete screws that, what do they call them? That
Redheads.
Well, they're not that. They're actually the ones that you drill a hole, put hammer down in there, and as you tighten, the bottom
The
expands.
epoxy.
Called a redhead.
Oh,
Redheads.
redhead. Yeah. Yeah.
It's called a redhead.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought, okay. Anyhow, I'm like, you sure that's going to hold? You sure you're not going to go flying with that? Because you still got to deal with the forces. And
See,
how are those bolts? Are they gonna
I told
hold up?
that to a friend of mine, and hell, he might be watching this. I don't know. Every house they've bought, they've done that. They've put in one of those concrete slab mounted
It's like a safe,
storm shelters. Yeah.
basically.
My whole thing on that is like, if you didn't build the house, you don't know the quality of that concrete where you're putting it. Yes, it looks strong, but there's a lot, you're talking in some of these things, like the last one he bought, I think he said it was rated for like an EF5 tornado.
Wow.
Which is, that's the most powerful thing out there.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I'm sitting there going, I kind of question it, because like I've heard stories of EF5s going through and foundations are gone.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like it's not the house is leveled, it is the foundation is ripped out of the ground.
So okay. So first of all, those bolts, there's a way to test those bolts, and they're tested. We test lots of them, and a lot is a batch. Okay. And
Not
you'll
a
drill
lot,
those.
a lot.
Yes, correct.
Yes.
And then we'll drill. They'll drill those into slabs, and then we'll turn around and we have a pull testing machine that pulls on, figures out the shear off when if it breaks out of the concrete or if it shears off, what failure you have, and then what the strength is of those failures.
Yeah.
That's number one. Number two, Joey pointed it out very well, and I want to bring it up, is those foundations that they were talking about with that bell structure at the bottom of it. That is for two things. One, bearing pressure. The more snowshoe effect, the bigger the area, the more it can go down. The second one is the wider it is at the bottom, the more uplift that you have. So now that you're tied all the way down and you have rebar all the way down to the bottom of that structure that was poured in concrete, you have more uplift that you have to, it can't pull it out.
You're not pulling a straight tube out, you're pulling a cone, an upside down cone out of
Correct.
the ground. Yeah.
So basically it's a wedge. It's wedged in there. So, and you were talking about these redheads. Redheads are great. Don't get me wrong, but the shear off value on them side to side is a lot less. So if you have a structure that's sitting there and it's able to do this in the wind load, they'll shear.
It's going to shear. Yeah.
Right. Where if you pour, say you did J hooks, so a J hook, it's exactly what it's called. J hooks, say a number 5 bar, J hooked, and then it had an anchor at the top of it. That is going to give you much more strength than that redhead would.
Wow. Okay.
And that's what Dan
Yeah.
Dan basically said that.
Yeah,
Oh, do
I
they?
really like redheads.
I do too, but you know they're feisty, so I'll just stick with
I'm
my
married.
brand.
I'm married to one.
I'm married to
so
one.
I
Yeah,
really
I'm
like
married
a
to-
red- I like a redhead.
And you know, and there's and like I said, there's nothing wrong with them. That's what my safe is bolted down with, is secured down with one of those. I mean, they work great, but I would not trust them in that.
Not
and
an
there
above
is-
ground. If I'm going to spend that
No.
kind of money, to me, is go into the backyard and dig a hole and set one in. You
Yeah.
can get those. Once
Pop
you're
it.
underground, you
But the-
should
so
be fine.
The
you know?
problem with that is flooding. If you're in a floodplain, you can't have them because there's risk of them flooding. And there is a company in Oklahoma, because Oklahoma is right in Tornado Alley.
Yeah.
They will come in, they'll cut the bunker into your garage. And
Yeah, I
so
was
they
gonna bring that
cut
one
it
up.
down in.
Yeah.
And what they do, because when they first started talking about them, a lot of the fear was, well, if the house collapses on them, how do you get out? They have a ram system on the door that will actuate the door up. And I forget what they said the rating was, but it will essentially lift the house off the door to get you out. But they're also, every single one is in a GPS database, and they know if a tornado goes through an area, okay, we have this many storm shelters in this area. We need to get our crews out there, or we need to alert authorities. There's potentially people buried under houses in these shelters. But that same company, they do an above ground. But what they do is they cut out the slab where that storm shelter is going to go, and they re-pour the slab. They build it like what Matt was saying with that cone shape, and they build them, and those have withstood some massive storms where the rest of the foundation of the house is gone and that shelter is still standing because it's built right. I would not trust one of those aftermarkets that you're just bolting into your house.
The ones that I found the best were they're steel structures. Basically, it's almost like a Connex, maybe a little bit larger than a Connex. And then they have this tube shaft that goes down, and you're 15 feet underground. And then they have air vents that go up, and they have power that's on the outside that can be automatically kicked on from where you're at. And everything's underground, but still that way you have your own power just in case power kicks off. You have solar panels, you have everything that you need to survive down there for a certain period of time. It's a pretty nice system. I've looked it up, and
I think you're talking about there's one about an hour from me that makes them. It's called Atlas Bunkers or something. And yeah, that's how they build them. But the thing is, like, when they're in the ground, they concrete around them. So they cut the hole, they dig the hole in the ground, put a concrete pad, put the bunker in the ground, and then they concrete all the way around the bunker. So you're in a steel box surrounded by a foot or 2 foot of concrete. Yeah. But it's not a bad idea. And, I grew up in a house that had a storm shelter. What's funny is it was used as a storage building. So we kept our Christmas decorations. And the one time we had to use it, I remember my dad chunking Christmas decorations out the door so we could get in there. And then, of course, nothing happened. But,
David, is that like a pocket door? Is that what you're kind of talking about there with that sliding door?
I think
curious.
I know what he's talking about. Yeah, because I've seen those, and I don't know if it's a pocket door. I think it slides on the externally, because I don't think you could do the pocket door in those, because you wouldn't want it inset.
But you could have it. You could have it in between two slabs.
Yeah, you could. Yeah, that would be,
be
interesting to see. Yeah.
On that note, guys, I'm gonna pop off because I gotta get up be at the golf course at 5:30 in the morning.
Oh,
we'll allow it.
See you, JR.
I got a 100-man tournament tomorrow.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Have fun with that.
You're taking on 100 men. Awesome.
Yo, yeah. Leave that in your heads.
Yeah, I couldn't help it. I couldn't help it. Too easy.
Yeah, boy.
Freaking Joey. Later, y'all.
So yeah.
So, yeah,
That wasn't Joey that time.
I know.
Yeah,
I know. It was
would be.
kind of. It has to come along to an up and then an emergency. Has a
Yep. Scott, you
Oh,
muted.
okay.
Scott, you
Okay.
muted.
sound. You never sounded better though. I'm telling you. I hate when my eye itches too.
So Joey's not the only one that's got access to the quick keys.
No, Matt.
We all do.
BJ and Mustache have it.
Well, we know
Yeah, I can do
Mustache
that.
ain't touching them.
In that.
He's still trying to get his ear pods in.
Matt's just over there talking. He doesn't even know.
Right, Matt?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Ha ha ha.
Absolutely. It's usually purple. It's usually purple, but sometimes it's green.
Yeah.
Well,
Real funny.
I muted myself because JR texted me and said he
I
can
don't
hear
know who
my
did
chair,
that.
my chair
yeah.
squeaking.
Yeah, you need
Yeah.
some WD-40 on that bad boy.
Hey, don't you have that fancy noise cancellation?
At the beginning of the show, you could hear that. Next thing I know is Whacker looked at me and said, "Scott needs some WD-40 for the chair."
God, you should have said something earlier.
That's why
I didn't know it until we went live, and I was like, I'm like, good gosh.
You mean you can't hear it?
I can't.
He's got his noise canceling headphones on. He can't hear anything going on in his shop.
Oh, all right.
But
That
it's
makes
the-
sense.
But it's the computer, so I don't have the noise cancellation on the computer. So
Wait.
we'll have,
I
to
might.
we'll have to get the silicone out and lube her up.
Yeah.
Oh, I just reduced your mic background noise. There we go.
Nice. You're awesome.
It's not going to make any. We did the same thing to you the other day, and we could still hear your printer or whatever you were doing running at 100 miles an hour.
Well, it's because I had to switch. I had to switch to the AirPods. That's
Okay.
That's what did the trick.
dude, those old 3D printers I have, or the older ones, man, when those things were running, they have so many. The fans were like, it sounded like a freaking jet engine in here. Just
That's what I'm curious because they said the new Bamboo Labs, even running at full tilt, is quiet. I'm really curious to hear, hear
we'll
what that actually
know.
sounds like.
That's not.
And
gonna
I'll
stay in the
trust
box.
you.
That's coming
I'll
out.
trust you on that versus somebody, putting out a promotional video for them.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Speaking
do.
about new
I'm gonna
stuff.
do a YouTube video on it.
Yeah.
So,
Which then again, I mean, my two are
Get
fairly
sleep
quiet,
first.
unless you're my
My-
son and I happen to have him running when he's over, and he's like, "Dad, I couldn't sleep all night because your 3D printers were running." I'm like, "Just let the hum of the fans sing you to sleep." He's like, "No, it's annoying." I'm like,
Yeah. My A1 is so much quieter than the P1S.
The only
Well, once
time
they
I
did that-
notice it is when it's doing a filament change with the AMS. That's the loudest part to me.
Yeah.
oh yeah, that.
Yeah.
When it's reeling
Yep.
it in.
Yeah.
Yep.
But once they
Oh.
did that firmware at the very beginning when the P1Ss came out, it quieted them down a little bit.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Speaking about firmware, did you guys see Masso's email? For any of you guys who have One Infinity Massos,
What happened?
I don't
they're
know what
moving
that
to a
is.
subscription model for
Of
your
course they are.
updates and firmware.
What?
You're gonna have to pay for it now.
Yep. Anything after what you currently have, whatever G3 or whatever it is, after April 15th, I think this year, they're switching to a subscription model, which they only will accept annual payments. So it's not like a monthly, but it comes out to, I think, $19 per month. So
Holy crap!
Jesus.
yeah,
I'll be
everybody's
sticking with my
kind of really
Billbotics.
annoyed.
I guess I'm glad I didn't upgrade because I've still got the old Billbotics system.
Yeah.
got
So
the macro.
What is
my
it, Scott?
understanding is the announcement from Onefinity said when you get your new Onefinity with a Massa, it will have the latest firmware. But as far as they're aware, anything after that, you'll have to pay to get access to the firmware and bug fixes.
That's $230 a year. That's not terrible.
Well,
No, it's not.
It's not
But-
terrible for somebody that's making a lot of money off your CNC. But if you're just a hobbyist and you're just
Right.
playing with your CNC,
Yeah.
it ends up
Okay.
adding up.
But then again, like, what are the chances of really like needing to do a firmware update? Like, as
And-
long as the systems keep
I mean-
working and the Wi-Fi and all that stuff keep working, like,
I agree that it depends on what it is. Like,
yeah,
Oh, so you can skirt
I-
around the update and
yeah.
And
Like
say
my
no.
Lightburn has been expired because that's the other thing. Like Lightburn is free, or it's a one time. They say it's not subscription based, but if you want to upgrade
Mhm.
every year, you're paying
the new
$100 a
version.
year.
Yeah.
Right.
right.
So
yeah.
I'm still two versions behind, but I looked at the new version. There's nothing in that new version that I need. And I was
CNC.
talking to the
CNC stuff.
So,
There's CNC stuff.
I
Lightburn?
can't.
Mhm.
I don't do that. So
Honestly, I can't complain. I mean, I spent $2,000 on Aspire, and I'll have to
Yeah.
pay for any upgrades. I got a buddy who's got a cabinet shop that's got a very nice CNC, and he's got a monthly subscription, and he spends close to $5,000 a year
jeez.
Ooh.
Yeah.
for that. So
Dang.
that $5,000 a year is a hell of a lot. Like for what I pay, is a lot cheaper than what he's spending for that.
But
big
he's probably paying for that in one job.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
But-
like his CNC is a year old and it's already paid for.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
like a $200,000 CNC.
The difference is
I
if
mean-
if it's your business and you're using it, and
Yep.
you get
Yep.
to
It's a
pay
cost
for
of
it. That's
doing
different.
business.
But
Yeah.
for all the folks that are kind of hobbyists and
I mean, to
aren't
me, that's
creating a
kicking
business off of it,
kicking the butt after y'all spent all this money
right?
Well,
on a
Exactly.
brand new
Yeah.
machine to upgrade to come back around months later and say, "Hey, by the way, if you want updates, it's going to cost you."
Yep.
I mean, like with Aspire, like I'm on version 12, I think. When they jump to, I get all the updates in 12, but
Yeah.
when they jump to a 13, then I
You're
have to pay to upgrade to that 13. And if it costs me a couple $100,
Yeah.
so
Correct.
be it. But I might be a little disappointed.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it's
Yeah.
and that's the thing. As long as it keeps working, and that's like I was talking to the guys
Yeah.
at Lightburn about it. Just asking the question. The next time I will pay to upgrade is when they finally incorporate I forget what the name of the feature is, or nesting, where you can do an automated nesting
Yep.
for the laser, because they don't do that. Now there's other laser softwares out there that will do auto nesting, but right now with Lightburn you have to manually nest everything. And I told them, it's like you put a feature in there where I can click a button when I'm cutting 50 of the same thing, and it will auto nest it and find the perfect way. Let me know, and I will update my subscription. I will pay for it for that update. And they're like, well, we just don't see a huge need for that. I'm like, there are thousands of laser users out there that would love to be able to click a button and just be done with it. Everything.
Where it would optimize. So nesting's optimizing like your cuts and everything.
it shouldn't be that hard, because I can tell you the plasma cutter software that we used on my uncle's plasma cutter 25 years ago, it had an auto nesting feature. So 25 years ago, a basic freaking Linux based laser software, your plasma CNC software
Linux
could do
right
it.
there.
But you're telling me in 2025 Lightburn does not have an auto mesh or an auto nesting feature. I mean, heck, my old plasma CNC, the software it ran had an auto nesting feature, and it was great.
Speaking of plasma cutters,
Mhm.
Steve I sent us down a rabbit hole last night with X Tool.
X
Have you
Tool.
seen?
Oh yeah.
I have
Axel, the
seen their
metal
new-
fab.
Yeah,
Oh
Machine.
yeah.
Have you
Yep.
seen that thing?
I've seen pictures of it. I haven't seen it in use yet. I've heard it's pretty
Oh my
legit.
God! Go look at that. Go look at that sucker.
What's the thickness it can cut?
You're not doing nothing massive, but
I don't think you're going over a half inch. I
Wait,
think
half
maybe
inch-
3/8 steel is about the most you're going to be able to cut with it.
That's
What
pretty-
I've
Is
heard
it
is
using plasma or laser?
laser.
laser.
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah, laser will cut because the kerf
It
is
just
smaller.
it
so
just
can cut
reminded
thicker.
me, but you can get the whole feature where you can clean rust, you can
Yeah.
weld, and the thing is, it welds all materials: aluminum, stainless, metal,
Joey's already got it coming.
and you get the CNC part of it.
Yeah.
It's pretty
Yeah.
neat. It's expensive, but you're going to be paying about 14 grand for it.
And it's not bad because my 4x8 plasma table is 22,000.
But just looking at it, it's like, man, if somebody wanted to get into making decorative things for home decor, like light, decorative light, metal light
Mm-hmm.
enclosures, I mean, whatever, that thing will do it. It's freaking neat.
What's the footprint?
Hold on, I'm pulling it up
Well,
right now.
So the actual cutter and system looks like it's probably about 2.5 feet long by about a foot wide by probably about 24 inches tall. So it's not that big, but then the CNC part, if you choose to get that has a table cutting capacity of 24 by 24.
24, yeah.
And it has a pass through, so your
Whoa.
your X is 20. No, your X is unlimited. Your Y is 24.
Y is 24, yeah.
Yeah, because it's
and-
got a conveyor. Did it have the conveyor on that or not?
It doesn't have a
I
conveyor.
don't
it's-
think it has a
it's
conveyor. I think it's
manual.
just a
No,
pass through.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
everything on it.
Yeah.
I would
Okay,
mess
so
that up
here you go.
every time.
Cutting thickness is for the 1200 watt is 5 millimeters. So 0.197 inches.
Okay.
So it's not a
Yeah.
half inch.
Right.
that's
I
still- I
figured
mean,
it would be
just-
3/8 at most.
Yeah.
Just over 3/16.
16,
Yeah.
16 gauge. It'll cut 16 gauge steel.
Yeah.
So, and
Which
that's
for the most
stainless
hobbyists and everything, or artists, I think
yeah.
that's probably going to be a sweet spot for them. I mean, it's not designed for, production work, but
I mean, well, they
It's-
leave these steel plates all over the road. I can just pick up and use, right?
yeah,
Well, those
good
are
luck with that.
Usually
Yeah.
half inch or 3/4 inch. Yeah.
Yeah. Just clean them up.
A 4x8 16 gauge sheet of steel, still, 80, 90, 80 pounds. So
Yeah.
good luck with that. I know you're a big old boy, but
Oh no, we used to lift them up with a crane, set them out back in the day.
yeah.
Yeah, it looks
But
pretty
it's-
sweet.
It's 220 volt or 240 volt, 23 amp. It's a pretty serious machine.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's
Wire
about
feed.
13 grand for
That's what it,
the
yeah.
whole setup,
All the
the
bells and
12
whistles, yeah.
1200 watt with the CNC, and I think I heard it's about 8,000 if you just want the cutter minus the CNC piece.
So that's CO2. That's CO2, right?
No,
Not
fiber.
diode.
No, it's a fiber.
Oh,
laser.
fiber. Oh, is that the MOPA? That MOPA?
No,
The
no,
lowest
it's-
price. She
Probably
gave
the 600
pricing.
watt. I think there's two. There's a 600 watt and then there's the 1200 watt.
Yeah,
the
1200
options.
and
I saw
800
something
watt.
for like 3,000.
That's probably the 600 watt,
Yeah.
just the laser.
So 1200 watt and 800 watt are the two
Okay,
options. Yeah. But still, the 800 watt will cut 4 millimeter.
Yeah.
So that's pretty freaking serious.
Yep.
Like you're not playing around with that at the end of the day.
Nope.
Like that's a pretty serious machine. X Tools made some strides. I used to think they were kind of just a gimmick, but they have definitely come along.
Oh no! I would love to pivot to X-Tool.
So I want a fiber laser. That's my next laser. Just a regular, just for engraving metal.
Mm. Oh man, I just saw Austin.
High caliber craftsman.
Yes.
Yeah.
He just made business cards on
Mhm.
on his laser, and dude, they came out so freaking good.
I can do powder coated business cards, but if you're wanting to do actual like stainless or regular metal business cards, yeah, no, CO2 won't do it.
That dude is taking that fiber laser. What it's the what is it?
I think it's the OhmTech, right?
No, it ain't an OhmTech. It's the other one, the blue and white laser.
Blue and
Thunder.
The one that Lee has.
Thunder.
Thunder.
Yeah.
Thunder. Yep.
And
Thunder.
he's done some cool stuff with
Thundercats. Oh,
that fiber laser, man. Watch Austin stuff, High Caliber Craftsman. He's a machinist. And man, he does some cool stuff with that thing. It's freaking amazing.
Thunder's in Texas. They're based out of Texas. No, Eon laser makes the best lasers hands down.
Oh yeah, I'd love one of those.
They are.
Don's
Well, hey,
firing up the next right.
Steve, if you want one, I got a link for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do.
Excellent.
Actually, it's more of a name drop thing. When you talk to him, you just tell him BJ from Byram's Custom Woodwork sent you. And
All right. Maybe at the end of the year.
yeah, there you go. I love mine. Like it
Dan
is.
from Dan's Woodshop is in the chat. He's a celebrity, man. He's all over the place with that clamp. He did a video on with his. That was him with it. If you want to go see some stick canoe oars, is go watch Dan's Woodshop.
Dan's Woodshop.
Yes.
You should
That's
go
fine.
see the things that man makes. It is insane how talented he is.
I might just have to.
That guy's popping up all over Facebook, and I was like, that looks like Dan. And I was freezing the video because I heard his voice, and I was like, that's Dan. 'Cause
So
on
which
some of
one?
them, you don't see
Which
his face.
which one is it? Because I searched Dan's Woodshop and like 5 come
on.
up. Is it
Dan
Dan Hinch? Okay.
Dan's
I found it.
Woodshop.
Yeah, I
Crap.
followed him. Ooh,
I gotta make
Yeah.
sure I follow him. He's only a couple
Herringbone
hours
powder?
north of me.
Look at that. Look at his stuff he makes.
Ooh.
Oh,
That dude is-
Christina's here.
Oh yeah. Look at that guy.
Don't
Dan
know.
Dot
Awesome.
Woodshop.
I don't canoe or anything, but those are some pretty
Dude, they are
oars.
freaking beautiful.
Oh,
Yeah, they
Yeah.
are.
yeah.
Works of art.
I'm following him.
Wow.
Mm.
Beautiful.
Well, he
He's
just
up
got a
in
follow from me, so
Minnesota.
there you go, Dan. Minnesota.
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 Yeah, that dude's super talented,
What?
man.
Minnesota.
Minnesota.
I might
Did it
have to
just
get up
so
there
you
this
couldn't join,
summer.
Chris.
Can't join the live. Yeah.
Well, I can jump off if he wants to jump on.
No, sir.
No.
You're not allowed to do that in here.
There's room. He can. Somebody
Oh,
else,
okay.
he
Oh,
could.
okay.
You want him to come in here with us? You think Mustache talks a lot?
What? I haven't said a
What?
freaking word.
Yeah, we know.
He's been
He's a
stoned.
little. He's a
He's
little.
been-
Little out of the. He's not talking that much.
He's
so.
been stoned all night.
Hey, Mustachio, I got a question for you.
Go.
Do the snozberries taste like snozberries?
Yeah.
All right, meow.
Right, meow.
Meow. Do I look like a kitty cat? I'll pitter patter around.
Liter cola.
Am I drinking milk from a saucer?
Chris is dying. to
hell's
get
a
in
liter
here.
of
He don't
cola?
know- He don't know how to join.
Oh.
Hold the spit on the cop's burger.
Oh, dude.
I gotta go back and watch that again now.
Oh yeah, that was a classic.
It's awesome.
I saw a video of a guy that took a.
I am pulled over. I am over. He is over.
Rolled all the way over.
Scott, shut up.
Here, hold on, I'll help you out, Mustache. There you go.
He's trying to finally talk tonight. Let him say something.
So I saw
Let's cut
a
time
guy
out.
that took a rotary tool and he put a piece of filament into it and he joined two different parts from a 3D print together with like
Friction welding.
basically just like soldering, almost
Fusion.
soldering. Because
Fusion welding.
yeah, it blew my mind. It was crazy.
What'd I say?
Never do this.
That's
I
a
don't
fusion or friction?
You
Friction
said
fusion.
You said friction.
Whatever.
Friction means you'd have to move them together to get them to heat up. And
Yeah.
Same thing.
no, it's not. Just
So-
like extrusion and fusion are not the same.
Same.
Either.
Same, but different.
So I just
Same,
sent,
same.
I just sent off today 2 seed boxes. They hold 50 units of seed, and they had holes in them, and they're all plastic. Like, just picture a giant 3D box, and they're gonna these
Huge.
plastic boxes. They're gonna
Huge
weld these holes shut for us.
How many seeds is
Yeah.
in a unit?
It's huge.
16.
80,000 in a bag of seed corn, or 140,000 in a bag of soybeans.
Okay.
One bag. These things are massive. They go on a trailer. That's how big they are.
Yep.
Oh,
And we're
okay,
talking
okay.
40 units in a bag, or 40 units they hold.
How much is in a peck?
Say that again.
How much wood would a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood?
A woodchuck could chuck all the wood of a
Yeah.
woodchuck could chuck wood.
Can I tow that? Can I tow that in my F-150?
No, it's a
You
Ford.
could. Yeah.
How
You might
many
break,
feet?
Break something.
Hey, Matt, how many feet in a rod?
In a
6.
rod?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I finally found something you don't know. Nice.
A rod.
If I don't know it, I'll tell you.
A rod
What-
measurement.
what
that
is a
sounds
rod?
like that sounds like a lost a World War measurement.
Joey, stop playing with your pickle.
Say it again.
It's a
Did
sticker.
y'all hear
pick.
it? Oh my God.
Bye, Dan.
Boy.
Bye, Dan.
Later, Dan.
So what is a rod?
Later.
Later, Dan.
So when you look at fence posts or fences,
Mm-hmm.
a rod is from fence post to fence post is like 15 feet 3 inches.
Oh, okay.
Depends on the fence, wouldn't it?
So like my grandpa, he'd ask me when we're out there field cultivating, it's time to come in. How many rods are you from the driveway?
Oh, okay.
You'd be like, oh, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, fuck, I don't know, Grandpa. Just come get my ass.
That's like telephone poles. They're approximately
Yes.
100 feet apart.
Yep,
Yeah.
Yep.
exactly.
How much?
100 feet.
100 feet. Yeah.
Mhm.
Maybe up in y'all's area.
Say there. I don't know
That's
how
Well,
far.
we're
usually,
normal.
that's usually about 300, 250 to 300 down here.
Well, it depends on the
Yeah.
fence.
They don't have
posts or the
trees.
telephone
They don't have
pole.
trees, Steve. That's why.
Nah.
Hey, we've got them up here, and that's about the same
Uh,
distance.
Joey's probably talking transmission lines. Those are probably a lot farther than a
No,
telephone pole.
No.
regular residential
Oh,
run of the mill poles.
That's
I'm
why
gonna
you
take
have a-
picture tomorrow. I'm gonna take a picture of it.
That's
We
what-
got a power line sitting there with a probably 25, 30 inch diameter tree. still sitting on it, and they cut it off at the edge of it, so it's still just sitting there. Instead of cutting it on that side, they cut it on this side.
You just stay right here. Hold this. Do your
Yeah.
job.
Hold this down.
So talking about transmission lines and high tension lines. So I helped the customer the other day. That's his job. They build and they maintain the high tension lines. And we were talking about the EMT fields or whatever the fields are that are around EMF. Yeah. He said there's, depending on where they're at, like if they're, or how high they are up on the towers, if you're scheduled to go up a certain height, you have to leave your wallet and everything in the truck because it will demagnetize your credit cards and your hotel cards and all that stuff.
Yep.
I'm like, so how did y'all find that out? He goes, we had it, years ago. They had a crew that was out and went back to their hotel, couldn't get in their hotel rooms, had to get all new hotel keys. And the next morning they went to get coffee and their credit cards didn't work. I'm like, oh, okay.
Trial and error, baby. Trial and error.
We had a deer lease that had high tension lines that ran it through the deer lease. And on a really moist, foggy day, the hair on your arms would stand up.
Yep.
Because you could feel the electricity in the air.
It's always a little bit warmer under those as well.
Yeah, it was really creepy.
And you just listen to the hum.
Yep. And you made sure you didn't shake anybody's hand because you would light everybody up.
So just slowly.
In the 50s and 60s, they built, like schools up underneath them and stuff because, it was cheap land.
Yep.
I want that house.
One right where the Love Canal was. Yeah, that's where I wanted to live at.
Perfectly healthy for years, and I bought this house, and now I've got testicular cancer. What's going on?
There's green ooze coming out of the walls.
Yeah.
I remember as a young kid, you could walk outside because we have transmission lines going by our house, and you could hear those things crackling.
That explains a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You could hear that.
That's why you are the way you are.
Yeah.
I always thought it was
Right, all
the
the
lead
sins
paint.
out of me.
That too.
There's a lot of power to them. My buddy, his son, has a really good friend that he grew up with, and he's a lineman. And 2 weeks ago, in the blizzard that we just had, they were out he's a power lineman. They were trying to fix something, and he was told that a line was dead, and he touched it, and it wasn't dead.
Once.
Yeah, now he's in the hospital.
Well, at least he survived.
Missing a chunk.
Well, he survived, but now he's missing both arms from here up.
Oh my
Oh.
Yeah. He's alive.
God almighty.
Not good.
Dang.
Not good. They've got some benefits going on for him now, and bunch of us have donated some stuff, and not good.
You get around these old power guys down here, and they start telling you war stories.
Yep.
We were working a hurricane back in the early 2000s down in the valley, and I was waiting to. That's when I did line work back in the day, and I was waiting for them to clear some power before I went up. And I tell you what, I'd never seen a guy not miss a beat, and he's up there. That power guy's up there, and he's working that line to get it back tied to the isolator, and that stuff starts popping on him up there. And that dude never missed a lick. I mean, he just stayed there working it while that thing's just popping right in his face. And I'm like, dude, you got a wheelbarrow, don't you, boy? When you walk around,
we carry them things.
Yeah.
As long as you're not grounded, you're fine.
That was insane to watch that man just sit there and just work that stuff, and that power's just popping in his face and never missed a lick. Got it done, just boom back down onto the next one. I'm like, yeah, right. I mean, it's insane. We had a 100+ kV line arm brake on a transmission line and it slapped the ground, and
Hang on.
communication lines were tied to that ground because you usually tied to the neutral grounds to ground everything. It solidly welded a little over a mile of communication line together. Just completely just made it one. Oh yeah. Wild how that stuff travels. It's crazy. But
we were
100 kV, over 100 kV. I think it's 120 kV.
Yeah. We were doing the World Congress Center here in Georgia, and I remember I was probably my 5th year of doing this kind of stuff, young, and we were going through orientation first thing in the morning. It's like 7 in the morning. We're starting to watch these videos on safety and stuff like this, and it just looked like it was daylight all of a sudden outside. And 3 guys were up in a scissor lift and hit the transformer, that little transformer thing that's up there. And hit that.
Yep.
All 3 of them dead.
Yep.
While I'm doing my safety orientation. It was woo. Yeah.
I'm going to jump off here. We have a plumbing issue. So, yeah, I'm going to go clean.
Oh, no.
Go see if I
Good
can
luck,
pop the
BJ.
sewer line. Yeah.
Fiber.
I'll holler at you later.
All right, man.
Fiber.
Later.
Godspeed.
Come here.
See you, bud.
Dropping like flies. Yeah, they eat, and also those ones where they gotta crank those transfer switches, and those guys are fully suited,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
and they watch. You have to see those safety videos because a lot of times when you're around stuff, no watches, nothing metal on your hands. I mean, even your rubber rings, and just static electricity, because there's massive backup batteries in these offices, and just you going up to that stuff can cause an arc with static electricity. So you ground yourself out before you start reaching over that stuff, because you got to refill those batteries and you got to keep them maintained every month. And they show you where people have, their necklace, not paying attention, and it falls out of their shirt, and now they become part of the circuit, and that's all big power, and they're just they're unalive, and even throwing those transfer switches on some of the stuff that they're not. A lot of the newer stuff is automatic, but you still have those ones where you got to pump them, and it's like just staring away when you throw that sucker, because you're throwing 3-phase power back onto commercial going from backup. It's crazy how that stuff is. I hate messing with it. Thank God I don't have to do it anymore, but one wrong step and it's bye-bye.
Yep. Yeah, I don't like electricity. I mean, I like it, but I don't like working with it.
I've had stuff told to turn to. I could tell you some stories where I've seen strand right here in front of my face just go from solid stainless steel to molten metal and just drop like rain.
Oh,
because it grounded out and on a faulty connection and grounded across, and I let go and went back, and that stuff just went solid red to just like molten metal dropping out of the sky like that with the loud bang, and I thought I was dead. Had to go change my shorts after that one.
I'm sure.
I was about 40 feet up in the air. So it happens quick.
I had one. I was wiring a new hot water heater in for a buddy of mine, and got the hot water heater in, and he had a light that was out in his basement. I'm like, oh, let's just fix this while I'm here. And I pulled it down. He's like, you want me to hit the breaker so it turns it off? I'm like, oh no. If I don't touch these 2 wires together, I'm good.
Famous last words.
Yeah.
I reached up and I'm doing my stuff, and next thing I know, I welded my side cutters together. And the power went out. Like, what? I guess we touched them together. I welded a brand new pair of side cutters together. It's like, well, I still fixed the problem, but I had to go buy a new pair of side gutters.
It's a water heater.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not a hot water heater. It's a water heter.
That's right. Because why would you heat
Are we
hot
going to
water?
get into this? Are we going to get into this?
Come on, Matt.
God almighty.
So before we get off the electricity is dangerous conversation, in a former life, I worked in a rehab hospital, and we had a gentleman who, the story I was told is he was working in a power substation, and there was a static discharge, and he was in the middle of it, and he had 3rd-degree burns on his feet, his hands, and it actually arced out and blew a chunk out of his side. So
Yeah,
he was
you
he was
don't
lucky
know
to be
which,
alive.
you know, it just depends on how it travels through your body, and hope to hell that
Yeah.
it doesn't go across and stop your heart.
Yeah.
But most people like that live through it, you know, usually through the arm and then blows out the bottom of the foot or out the
Yep.
side of the leg. An old power lineman he was management now, and I was talking to him, and he was showing me his battle wounds from back in the day, where it was a freak accident that happened, came down his arm, and he's got scars down his arm, and then right below the calf, it didn't make it to his foot, it blew out the side of his leg.
Yeah.
And he just got lucky. He said luckily that it traveled this way instead of going across,
It's just heart. Yeah.
Yeah.
and it'd have been lights out. You know, that stuff's dangerous. You got to be careful. And
Yeah.
and a lot of times it's people. The worst thing where we've seen fatalities and that stuff is homeowners not educated to where you get hurricanes down here. They go and plug a generator in, and they don't kill the main breaker in their house,
Oh yeah, back feeds.
and they're back feeding into the
Grid.
the power grid. And these guys are going out there thinking that everything's dead. And of course, you've got safety equipment to test, but a lot of them just don't. They just take it for granted it's dead. And
Yeah.
how many people have gotten injured and you know, ultimately killed because of that? Because once it hits a transformer, now it's transforming it up. It's stepping up the voltage,
Yep.
you
Mhm.
know, and sending it down the line until the line's broken. So it's energizing those lines, and people don't realize, like, you know, if you're going to do it safely and do it right. Make sure you disconnect from the power grid at your main breaker and just run it into your house.
Yeah.
And that's the
It
worst things that happen down here is people just don't do it. So you
Speaking
got to be
about-
very careful.
Speaking about generators and power and everything, what do you guys know about those solar generators and stuff, like, you know, the EcoFlows and Goal Zeros and everything, and the whole house battery backup systems?
Like a
mustache
Generac.
question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, not so much like an actual diesel or gas propane generator, more along the large banks of batteries that can be charged via solar and will charge off of the electric grid, off hours and everything. And then if you lose power, it kicks over, very much like a gas or
So like a solar power
solar
system.
power generator.
mustache. Oh, I don't know about generators,
I don't-
but mustache.
I think
Yeah, I don't-
I think the misunderstanding there is the generator part. It's not a generator. It's just
Well,
a.
it's true.
yeah.
It's just a battery backup. It's
There you
like
go.
the
There you go,
Tesla
yeah.
wall,
Yep.
but
Mhm.
I don't know. They everybody I know just calls them like a solar
I think-
battery backup generator.
Yeah, but I think those are only being charged from your solar panels. I don't think that's coming off the grid. I don't think.
no,
I
there
don't think
there are ones that will charge off of the grid, and
Oh,
you
okay.
can also charge them off solar power. And if you lose the grid, there are automatic transfer devices that, just like a regular Generac gas or propane or natural gas generator, when you lose that feed, it will flip the switch and cut everything over to the stuff that you have on the circuits that will service.
Yep.
I
But
mean, we deal with them in what I do, and of course, very different because it's a lot more power, but kind of the same concept. Uh, you got an hour amp rating on those batteries, and
Yeah.
according to how many you have tied in, will give you there's conversions to do hour amp rating versus your load. So how much actual amps are you going to pull? Then it can turn around and tell you, okay, so you've got 8 hours or 3 hours of backup, depending. It all
Right.
depends. Now on those kind of systems, you're going to strategically place certain devices on that. So when that auto transfer switch recognizes the commercial power fail, it transfers over to battery backup, and then you're going to have some lights in your refrigerator.
Right.
In order to run your HVAC, you're going to need a pretty good size.
Yep.
Well, those batteries are pretty powerful, depending on what you get.
Yep.
There's different versions and how many watts they can put out, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
But
And you can
I mean,
daisy
it
chain the
does
batteries
work.
together.
What's that?
Mhm.
You can daisy chain the
Oh, yeah.
batteries together
Yeah,
as
for
well.
sure. Oh,
Mhm.
sure.
Yeah.
That's how we do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
they're
then
all
put an
together.
inverter on it, and yeah.
Well, the inverter is built into it. It automatically, with the auto transfer switch, it will, feed that back into the circuits that you have dedicated in your house on
Yeah,
it.
usually with those systems, they have converters or inverters or converters wired in to when it transfers over, depending on the voltage that you're needing or requiring, all that's done accordingly.
Yeah.
But that
Yeah,
seems like that
because
would cost a lot of money to do in a
Well,
house.
supposedly you can get them for about 10 grand that will cover your whole house, and you can last for upwards of a day without any recharging of those batteries. And, obviously, let's just take North Carolina or anywhere, wherever you have a storm that's going to knock your power out for an extended period of time, you have the option of putting out solar panels, that will recharge those batteries throughout the day.
Mhm.
And I know a big thing with battery backup, and even with the newer stuff that's coming out, they need to be exercised regularly. So that's
yes,
Yeah.
putting them on, making them take the load,
Yeah. So they don't
letting
get
them,
conditioned.
because they will drop voltage dramatically, and then they hit their low voltage threshold, and then they start bouncing up, and they come back up until they hit that level spot, and then that's where you just start. That's how you can gauge how long they're going to take once they hit that low voltage, and they bounce back and they start coming up, and they get to what they call like a float voltage, and then you start seeing as your numbers change. It's how we gauge them, how we can figure out, okay, this battery plant at 400 or 600 amps is going to give us 4 hours of battery backup. At
Yep.
4 hours, we know that we better figure out what the heck we're going to do. Whether we're hauling in a generator to take over, or, it gives you 4 hours of play. Now in a home,
Right.
you're not going to really do that, right? You're just looking for something to back up worst
The
case
grid.
scenario
Yeah.
till they can
Yep.
get the power back on, or y'all get really cold up there. So,
Yeah. That's usually when I lose power the most, is during the winter, during, snowstorms
Keith?
and with high winds and, tree limbs take down the transmission lines and stuff. But
did my
usually
chat?
for me, it's not more than like 4 to 6 hours at a time.
Well, I say we end this. We've been on here for 3 hours.
Yeah.
Oh wait,
and-
wait. Before we leave, let me drop out. I'm curious what it looks like with 4 if I disappear.
It looks like 4.
Oh, it's like 4.
Oh, there's 4 there.
The-
Yeah.
The picture definitely got wider.
I'm
It's
gonna
not as cropped.
I'm gonna say there's a heck of
Uh,
a I'm gonna say there's a heck of a delay in Instagram though.
Yes, there
There
is.
Yeah.
Like a
5 to 10.
15-second.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's long.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah,
No,
it's-
I was curious. I was curious if Instagram would
Well, it
would
won't.
blow us up.
Like if we just run it straight to Instagram without YouTube on it, it will
Only.
give us that higher
Yeah.
view. But when you do it
Yep.
to YouTube, it's going to give you this
Right,
format,
right.
this wide format,
Yeah, we didn't get kicked. I mean, we're almost at 3 hours, and IG didn't kick us.
3.5, ain't it?
Three
Or
and-
no,
No, it's 2.5.
8:30.
2.5.
Yeah.
Yes.
2.5.
2.5.
2 hours
Yeah.
and 34 minutes and 40 seconds. Top left-hand corner of your screen.
Oh yeah, there
Hey,
it
look at
is.
that.
I always forget about that.
Hey,
Okay.
2, 3, 4,
20.
5.
23.5. Perfect.
Hey, we could
Nailed it.
actually cut this and put it out as podcast in case we have a day that can't do it.
Nah, you don't have. I haven't given you permission. Aren't
You're in your
I
public-
supposed to
Hey,
set
bud,
a-
your permission was
Yeah.
when you joined this.
Yeah.
Aren't I-
You're in
aren't I
the public.
supposed-
You're in the
Well,
public.
hold on.
The
No,
public.
no,
doing
there ain't no holding
podcast.
on.
Aren't
You
I
didn't read
supposed
the
to sign
fine
some
print?
release?
You didn't read the fine
You
print.
did not read it.
You
Yeah, I
did
guess I
not
didn't.
read it. It says
All
that
right.
on the left hand side
Let's-
when you come into this that you are authorizing us to reuse this audio and video at our discretion.
Hmm.
Well, this will be the last live I join.
All right, let's end this thing.
All right, gentlemen. It was a pleasure.
Just stay in here.
Just
We're gonna
stay.
go to the back.
All right. See you
Bye.
guys.
Bye.